Hey everyone, it's Kellen from Start Your Systems, and welcome to the 10th season of MotoOption Supercross here in MX Simulator. It's the 12th year of the Pro MX Simulator Supercross series, and we're very excited to bring you guys all of the action tonight. From the racing that's going to happen on track later tonight to the opening ceremonies that are about to kick off any minute. I'm sure you guys are very excited to see it all, and don't worry, we're going to bring you all of that action live here for the next few hours. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the track tonight here at Houston 1, courtesy of Underground RC. For over a decade, the best riders in the world have met right here. This is the pinnacle of MX Simulator.
MotoOption Supercross. From Tampa, Florida, riding for Moto Playground, number 14, Tyler Lane.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I'll make mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute.
From Lake Havasu City, Arizona, riding for MV Films, number 20, Jeremy Cohenauer.
I be chillin' with the gang. Through this blood sucker.
From Portland, Oregon, riding for BPC, number 21, Chase Blakely.
Boy, you should keep it space. H block, this is not your place. Bro, this pop your ass like a balloon. Wanna play around, I bet you lose. Sit your ass down, don't move. Gelati, yeah, we running with the toes. Shawty like to sip up on the goose. White girl got me feeling like a loon. Looney Tune, we running with the loop. My gun is my just running.
From Orlando, Florida, riding for atom.com, number 17, Adam Holmes. From Los Angeles, California, riding for Moto Playground, 2019 250 East Champion, number 26, Isaiah Dickerson. From Costa Mesa, California, riding for SwapMotoLive.com, 2020 250 West Champion, number 19, Braden Carter.
Never gonna stop, never gonna stop. Going to the top, Kobe with the shot. Cooking like a pop, I see this shit. Popping like a kernel, I was never taught. CBA, never said, I've been on my grind for 7 days. Need a race, swear to God I'll never be the same. TBH, TBH, yeah, CBA, never say, I've been on my grind for 7 days. Need a race, swear to God I'll never be the same. TBH, TBH, yeah, she tell me just do it cause I'm
From Peachtree City, Georgia, riding for Panini Motorsports Underground RC, number 6, Colton Mitchell. From El Paso, Texas, riding for Jack Daniels Racing, 2019 Supercross Champion, number 2, Jack Haley.
No matter who you are, now our future is gone. Monsters recreated all around. We have to survive now, sunshine is gone. pull up to the villa. My shit ain't really, she realize. I'm on a mic, it's a thriller. Walk on the coke, call me Kimba. I might kill our shit, yeah. I might read our shit.
From Warner Robins, Georgia, riding for Panini Motorsports Underground RC, your defending Supercross champion, number 1, Jeremy Siebel.
Hopping on my roast, yeah, bad bitch on my phone. Running up, I keep it low. Getting money, bro, this shit never told. No sticking so mad, I'ma go. But the whole fuck us have fun. Get on my I cannot phone on basic call. I tell the shorty to rake it on. All I in this shit facing on. Hop in the coupe, I race it on. Bad little bitch in the car. Shorty so cold, ain't noise.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the 2021 MotoOption SX Series live here on Start Your Systems. My name is Kellen Brauer, and I'm very happy to be joined by my boss, RacerX Online, NBC Sports, Jason Wygant in the booth. Can you believe it?
Yeah!
He's here, people.
I don't know if I'm the boss for long. At least today, I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah.
We'll see how much I can learn and how quickly I can learn it.
So we'll see. So Weege is in tonight. He's going to try to pick up on the racing as we go along, so it might take a little bit of time before he actually starts talking quite a bit, but I think we might sneak in a couple races where he actually calls the action for us.
Okay.
So we're here for the 10th year of MotoOption Supercross, the 12th year of Pro Supercross racing in MX Simulator. A lot of fun, a lot of things to discuss. I want to open up the night by talking about a cool giveaway that MotoOption in their 10th year with the series is doing. If you head over to startyoursystems.com/giveaways, they're getting a hoodie, a custom hoodie away to any of you guys tonight. So I got Brian Haskell, a couple other people in chat are linking this giveaway to you guys in chat, so you can just click on it through chat, or you can click on it in the description of the video or type it in yourself, either way. But if you enter now, it's open for another 30 minutes, and then we'll pick a winner before the LCQs here tonight. So yeah, go ahead and enter that. Thank you, MotoOption, for that. We also want to talk about the 101, the format for tonight, of course. MotoOption SX 101, top 40 advance from qualifying. We'll take a look at qualifying times in just a minute. Each class runs 2 heat races, top 9 advance. You got the 2 LCQs and the main events as well, but you guys obviously know kind of the story there. Let's go ahead and take a look at qualifying times real quick if we can. As I'm going to actually refresh these so we can see the most up-to-date qualifying times. We're probably getting ready for UID grab here in just a minute. But it looks like about 15 minutes ago when we started this, Alexis Leclerc and Braden Carter were in a bit of a lap time duel at the top there. Leclerc on a 48.6, Carter on a 48.7. But we're obviously wanting to keep an eye on those 40th place times to see where the cutoff is. And here we go, just reloaded. So we got to go back to qualifying. And actually, it looks like we have a new guy at the top. Carter and Gebhardt all jumping Leclerc. Leitzler as well. Logan Leitzler up in there as well. Weege, you might know Logan Leitzler. You might know that name.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like everybody in the 49s down to 36th place. Wow, really close times here. So 40th on a 50.1. Robert Wilson looks like he maybe just snuck into the show and is just under 2 seconds off the top time. Obviously, the 250 East class is going to go first. So Jacob Hubbard, Colby Eaglin, Nathan Prin in a bit of a fight here. And also the Swede, Rasmus Balzer, getting into the low 50s range and making a run for it as well. It looks like that cutoff time is actually a fellow Swede of his, Rasmus Eriksson, on a 52.2. So we'll see how those guys fare a little bit later on here tonight. We'll go ahead and jump in the server, though, and see what's happening. It looks like UIDs may have been grabbed already. Weege, I'll kind of talk you through this whole thing so everybody kind of understands this as well. What ends up happening right here is everybody has just joined into the server from their qualifying servers, and the way that you get into the races is by having your UID grabbed, which is your user identification number, and they run a script that runs all the races basically for them. So basically those UIDs get grabbed, put into the script, and then we have all of our racing on hand tonight. So we're just waiting for those UIDs to grab. In fact, why don't we go ahead and jump into the season schedule just real quick. And the 2021 schedule, of course, mimics the real-life schedule. So we're starting here on January 6th in Houston, and next week and the following week will also be in Houston. We are not going to do the format, the real-life series is doing, where they're doing 2 or 3 races a week. We're just going to do it once a week until the end of the year, so kind of mimicking the schedule, but also not mimicking the days. And so we're going to be in Houston for the next 3 rounds, but obviously different tracks, so we're looking forward to that. And might as well go ahead and load into our intermission screen so we can chat with the man here tonight, Jason Wygant. Well, how about it, Weege? Are you actually excited to see a gaming race, or are you just kind of like, what is this whole thing all about, huh?
Yeah, the first thing I asked about 15 minutes before we started this was, am I allowed to admit that I don't have much experience with this at all? Some of the crashes that I saw when you were showing it to me were absolutely bizarre, so I'm allowed to laugh.
Yes, you're allowed to laugh, because it is kind of funny what happens in this game sometimes. It's also very intense, very close action as well, so we're hoping to see some good battles, obviously close battles with the transfer spots and everything like that. But yeah, the crashes do tend to look a little silly from time to time.
And I cannot believe, when you took us for a tour of the racetrack, that is the actual view that these folks use in the game. And you can do that for 20 minutes without your eyeballs falling out.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, personally speaking, there's 2 camera modes. There's first person and third person.
Yeah.
A lot of people play in first person.
Wow.
I never played in first person. I was always third person.
Yeah.
So I got used to playing in third, but a lot of people are used to playing in first and can do, all those, 20 laps, 20 minutes, whatever it takes.
Get the eye drops, bro.
It's definitely a lot more hard, though, in the outdoors, 2 back-to-back 30-minute plus 2-lap motos. So.
Jeez. That's intense,
Yeah.
no doubt about it. And, I mean, everything I've seen so far from opening ceremonies and the fact that qualifying ran as close as you said, that really shows how serious this is. It is. I'm sure everybody wants to be in those opening ceremonies. They want to represent those teams. The effort that everybody put into their opening ceremonies and the look of their bike and their gear, and then how close it is to be in or out of those types of rankings, unbelievable.
Yeah, it definitely can be close. We're definitely going to see a lot of close battles throughout the field. It sometimes tends to be a little bit similar to real life, though, in regards to you kind of see the top 3 or 4 guys really break away, and by the midpoint of the season, you have a very steady stream of who's going to be who in the series. So we'll go ahead and just got to leave the server real quick so I can get those skins loaded back in, and we'll see who is on the gate out there as 250 East Heat number 1 going to kick us off this year. 20 riders going 6 minutes plus a lap for 9 transfer spots into the main event. Nathan Prynn, Jacob Hubbard, Luke Sullivan, Joseph Pilsner, Noah Viney, Dominic Tiberino, Jack Gatland, Tanner Thorson, Colt Hans, Jonathan Alexander, Trevor Spencer, Nate Tunnell, Chris Post, Josh Collins, Cole Roberts, Brady Stanley, Rogan McIntosh, Benjamin Miljkovic. That looks to be our running order that are going out there. They are currently on a parade lap, so we're just waiting for things to restart, but obviously some of your heavy hitters in here, guys like Nathan Prynn, the 11 of Jacob Hubbard, Luke Sullivan on the 18, Team Nami out here trying to get things done as well.
Team Nami.
All
right, finally good to see them back up front. I hope they don't run any blockers out there.
Hopefully not.
And our defending champ?
Not in this heat. He is going to be moved to Heat 2, it looks like, so we'll see Isaiah Dickerson in that second heat. But we're about ready to kick off the 2021 MotoOption Clothing Supercross season here live on Start Your Systems. We're getting that 30 board sideways, getting the revs up, and time to drop the gate in Houston. Looks like a good start for the 11 out of the middle, and he's going to get to the corner first. Can he hold the inside as Prynn on the 42 lays it over? It will be Jacob Hubbard, SwapMotoLive.com. He gets that whole shot to start the year on the right foot. He's got Rogan McIntosh right behind him. Jonathan Alexander up there in third. Dominic Tiberino finished third in this championship last year. Remember, we're racing east to start things off this year. It's a little bit unique that we're not seeing the west guys that normally race on those baseball stadium type tracks start off the season. We're going right to football stadiums and to the East Coast guys as Hubbard leads them around back onto the start straight. And close-knit group here for the first couple corners already.
Now you're telling me this track actually will change and will break down. It's fresh right now for this heat, but it's going to change.
Correct. It is only going to break down per race, though. As a race resets, so does the track, so it's not going to be completely roached by the main events per se. But yes, the track does degrade. It's a system called the erode system, and you'll notice probably a couple laps in, a few ruts lining up in the corners, and maybe a few ruts or a couple bumps on entry as well. But it's really just pretty light early on. Yeah, going into the tough blocks there on the start line right there.
Through. Yeah,
through the tough blocks. The start line tough blocks are actually sequence files, so they're they're opaque. I always forget the word that you should say with this, but translucent. There you go. You can go right through them. The ones that they are currently surrounded by are not, so they could hit those and they could get squirrely because they're not. They have actual files that you can hit them. Yeah. So you'll see guys hit some tough blocks and get squirrely, but most of the time they're actually pretty easy to kind of blow through the tough blocks in a straight line. So Hubbard still leads. We got McIntosh second. It's Alexander third. Tiberino up here in fourth, and Sullivan running inside of the top 5. Trevor Spencer sits in 6th. The Frenchman Nathan Prin is in 7th. Colt Hans running in 8th, and looks like Benjamin Milchkovic all by himself in 9th. The 368 here, or the 369 of Jack Gatlin, trying to close up from P10.
I see your leader here, Hubbard, 4th in West last year. What leads a rider to choose one coast or the other here in this?
It depends. Some people are a little bit more lenient towards football stadiums or baseball stadiums, so sometimes that is the difference maker.
In a normal year.
It also depends on where they live in real life. Obviously, these guys are all playing in different locations. Some of them are from North Carolina. Some of them are from California. So if you're from California, maybe you want to race west. If you're from North Carolina, maybe you want to race east. But this year with the weird schedule, I think really what it comes down to is just trying to not race against the stiffest competition. So I think a lot of these guys kind of played the gamble of starting the season off on maybe the lighter coast if it turns out that way.
Who's the big hitter that they're all
well, obviously,
line up in the West?
Well, on the West, it's a little bit more blown open because the West guy has moved up. So there's a lot more guys on the West that could challenge and could contend for a championship, unlike this coast, which is obviously going to have to dethrone last year's champion Colby Eagland to win this year's title. So Hubbard trying to do that as he is pulling a wheelie out front, looking comfortable.
Wow. Battle starting to brew here behind him with a couple of these Kawasaki riders. It's been fun to watch. Yeah, leader Hubbard's gotten away, but this is tightening up.
Yeah, it looks like Prin catching up to Rogan McIntosh. That is this rider's last name, even though he doesn't have it. It's Rogan McIntosh, a little sideways in the whoops.
It's not Rogan, it's Rogan McIntosh. Okay.
You're good. Okay.
Oh, good battle here between Rogan.
Yeah, Rogan McIntosh, and down the inside, the 49 of Trevor Spencer. Swapping to live.com, almost over the bars, and he's actually going to lay it down.
Tried to triple out there, and luckily the riders translucently don't run into each other. That could have been a disastrous situation. Just trying to stay in that top 8, just like the real deal.
Yeah, so actually what you hit on there, the riders are actually all tangible. They can hit each other and bounce off of each other. They don't ride through each other at all. So if a rider is down, it's very likely that more people will pile up into him. Yeah.
Okay.
So fortunate there that he did not get tangled up a little bit more and allowed for this battle to somewhat continue. Prin off the front here, Jonathan Alexander in the middle, and Rogan McIntosh behind. They're still all chasing our race leader, Jacob Hubbard, going the other direction.
Whoa!
That's the second time McIntosh has got sideways in the whoops there.
Oh, McIntosh playing on a PC. That's a bad combination. Gets sideways in the whoops. A little RC. Now it's not a scrub. That's just a straight swap. Hard to get that rhythm.
Yeah.
Perfect coming out of that left.
Tough rhythm this week for sure because they purposely made the third jump in line there a little bit smaller so you didn't quad in the middle of the rhythm very easily. So these guys, looks like they're trying to go over the first double and then actually over the table instead of jumping on off the table. So it's making it a little bit more technical. We'll watch Hubbard here as we're creeping up on the end of time here. Timing and scoring in the top left-hand corner of your screen to tell you how much time has elapsed in this race. But Jacob Hubbard cruising along out front, and you'll see here he's going to go over this first turn complex down in, and then he will actually step on, step off, and then triple single into the outside here.
I don't think that's the faster line, though. Maybe less risky, though.
Yeah.
The rider's down.
Yeah, having to take some evasive maneuvers off the track there. So it looks like we're going to have 2 laps to go, 5.5 minutes in. And when we hit that 6-minute mark, the white flag will come out. Hubbard looking like he's in cruise control. McIntosh has moved up into second in front of Dominic Tiberino. Alexander slipped back to fourth, and Prin has lost several positions. He's now down into fifth. Here's Colt Hans in sixth, Luke Sullivan in seventh, and Jack Gatlin is down in eighth. And Cole Roberts also went down in front of him. He just moved up to eighth, and Gatlin is getting going just as Benjamin Milchkovic is getting there. And Gatlin went down again, so Milchkovic is going to go into eighth, but he might jump off the track. Down the inside, that was Roberts trying to get in there, and Chris Post also getting into the mix. So Milchkovic goes to 8th, and now Roberts on the bubble here in 9th. Got a 3-rider train. Only 2 of them will go through if they all stay on 2 wheels. So Chris Post is going to have to try to make something happen here.
Well, now we see the danger of that rhythm lane with a couple of riders down there, so maybe the safe route was the better one. You saw your leader, Hubbard, didn't go triple all the way over the table, but boy, if you get it wrong, things happen in a hurry, and that affects some transfer spots here.
It does, absolutely. And you can see these guys all trying to regroup from those crashes, also making little mistakes here and there so that they don't go down again. They're trying to keep it on two wheels as Michkovic misses the rhythm, and Roberts gets all squirrely in front of him, but he makes a pass, and Post got through. Michkovic down the inside blocks him, and they're both going to have to take the alternate rhythm here. Oh, and they're splitting each other. Side by side, this is for 9th, and Post around the outside gets the pass done on Michkovic. Got to watch out because Trevor Spencer's sneaking back up into the picture.
Michkovic's got to be bummed the way that exchange worked. Now he's on the outside looking in for this transfer into the main, but he's already looking for insides.
Let's see if he can line up a move here on Chris Post. He's trying to go to the inside, but Post shuts the door. Trevor Spencer lurking back there. Meanwhile, up front, our leader might be about to take the flag, but down goes Chris Post, and Michkovic goes through into 9th, but here comes Trevor Spencer. There it is. Tiberino actually takes the win. Tiberino comes through and wins this one away from Nathan Prynn. We want to keep an eye on this battle for the final transfer spot. Michkovic trying to hold on. Looks like Hubbard drifted back to 4th, so must have had a couple late mistakes there. Michkovic has actually caught Colt Hans. He's going to go by him. So Hans now back down to 9th. Here's down the inside. Trevor Spencer trying to get there. We got 3 riders going for 2 spots, and Spencer gets into 9th. Does Hans have one last ditch effort? Oh, Trevor Spencer went down. It's not showing him on the screen, but there he is. He's down.
Oh, Hans gets the advantage there.
Yes, he does. And Spencer got passed as well by Benjamin Saves, who goes up to 10th, and Hans gets that final transfer spot. Close action down to the line is Nate Tunnell, Josh Collins, Noah Viney, Chris Post, Brady Stanley all missing out here. And Ryan Mahan also missing out. He was a lap down. Joseph Pilsner, Jack Gatlin, Tanner Thorson, all missing out. So let's go ahead and quickly run through our qualifiers in this one. Dominic Tiberino came through and snuck the win away in this one on the Tegrity 77. Nathan Prynn was 2nd. Rogan McIntosh in 3rd. Jacob Hubbard in 4th. Jonathan Alexander was 5th. Luke Sullivan in 6th. Cole Roberts 7th. Benjamin Michkovic in 8th, and Colt Hans did get that final transfer spot, but there is a system here that you'll notice these this little red text right here on the screen, Jason, is a cut system. So it's a penalty system that after the race, if you were cutting the track in certain areas, it'll apply a little bit more time to your total race time. This time it did not affect our transfer spot, though. Colt Hans did go through, but every now and then you'll see some positions change from this, and sometimes it can affect those final transfer spots. As you see right here, Chris Post gains a spot on Noah Viney, who was originally 14th, but he's going to go down to 15th in the standings based on, looks like, about 1.5 seconds of cuts there. Wow.
A lot of action there in that final lap and a half, maybe 2 laps. Your leader, Hubbard, ends up going backwards, finishes up in 4th, and then we saw 4 or 5 riders with shots at those final 2 transfer positions. Hahn is able to take advantage of other riders making mistakes around him, and Michkovic, that was wild. Lost about 3 spots, gained them back when it counted.
Absolutely. Very wild down to the end. Kellen Brauer, Jason Wygand joining us here in the booth here tonight. So, yes, indeed, that is Weege for those of you that guys are asking. 1 heat down. We still got another 250 East heat to go. Then moving on to those big 450s. So we got 1 race in the books, and I want to know your thoughts and opinions so far, Jason, on what you're seeing out there.
Well, this is awesome because it's the round 1, and it's the first heat race, so I get to use one of the most overused cliches. If that is an indication of the type of racing we're going to see all season long, it is going to be spectacular. Are they usually that good?
They can be throughout the night. Depends on the racetrack sometimes, for sure. This one seems to be providing a lot of good opportunities for passing, a lot of 180 bowl corners as well, which sets up some good passing. Usually those last chance qualifiers are where things get real spicy as guys are going to try to make into that main event, because if you don't make that main event, you leave here with no points from the openers. So some big names trying to make it in sometimes always makes it a little bit more exciting to watch.
That was just nuts, and that's just classic warfare for those final transfer spots, but that was just wild, and obviously no one is really worried about the repercussions if they actually do have a big crash. There's no reason to not absolutely send it, as we saw in that last lap. As you mentioned, 3 riders battling for the last 2 transfer spots. No reason to save it for the LCQ.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I do notice you guys saying something about fixing the bit rate. Unfortunately, once I start, I can't stop to fix the bit rate. I could just completely stop and restart the stream, but I don't really want to do that. The quality is going to look a little funky live. It should look fine in the post, so I'm sorry that you're dealing with this live.
Lay off Kellen, man. He's trying so hard. He's multitasking. Literally, he's doing 9 things at once. What a maestro. You can see the hands. The hand-eye coordination while announcing. Look, I'm going to make it easy on him. I'll do the talking right now. Kellen's probably like, this has never been this simple before. He's actually able to work the controls right now for a moment.
Perfect. All right. Thank you for that transition,
yes.
Weege.
Getting ready for 250 heat number 2.
250 heat number 2 on the line. We should see our defending champion out here somewhere. Might have already skipped over him. Let's see.
I'm going to call him the Englishman.
The Englishman?
English. Is he Canadian?
Huh. Maybe he is not out here. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Egeland.
Colby Egeland, yeah.
Egeland.
That is how you say his name.
The Egeland man. Oh, picking up the Monster sponsorship. Is he on a Star Racing Yamaha? Man, hard combination to beat. Running the number 1 with the red backgrounds.
Also getting a, we need to up Weege's mic, so I'm going to up your mic just
a
slight bit there.
We'll pump it up. Thank you. I probably got to get up on this thing a little bit more. Trying to practice some level of distancing here in the palatial Start Your System studios. So riders are getting ready for the heat race. By the way, if you're wondering, I'm out here. I'm hosting a GasGas team intro tomorrow. That's why I'm here. I won't be here for the rest of the rounds. Let's have some fun with this heat.
All right. Heat number 2 of the 250 East class on the line. We are revved up and ready to go to drop the gate again in Houston. Pretty good start for the all-green rider in the middle, but it looks like out of the inside, some contact.
Champion's down,
Egeland. Egeland down in the first corner, and out of the inside, Daniel Mills on the Jack Daniels Racing number 15 sneaks in there. Who is that on the all-green setup? It's Cody Branson on the Splitco. He's the number 317 regularly, so not sure what's with the all-green setup, but Nick Tomasunis, Ripper from Florida, goes to the front on the MXSoccer.com number 999 as he takes over from Daniel Mills, D-Mills. Couple real-life rippers right here, actually. Both of them have raced Loretta Lynn several times, and Tomasunis actually has his pro license, I believe. So these guys know how to do it on the real track and in the game, and Tomasunis trying to hold off. D-Mills contact, and Mills gets stood up and lays it down the corner. He's going to lose 3-4 spots there. Tries to get the double across the complex, and he goes down. Oh, Daniel Mills falling from second, losing several positions. You can see the riders funneling by, and a change for the lead as well as Rasmus Balzer goes to the front on the motorsport.com number 50.
Balls to the wall for Rasmus in the lead right now. A couple of riders, obviously COVID hurting the shipping process. They couldn't get numbers. They're pre-printed numbers and backgrounds for their bikes in time for Houston 1 here. Maybe they would have had it if it was actually January 16th. So no numbers, no problems. Some of the riders in this field. Not Balzer. He's making it clear what number he is. He wants to be number 1 right now, and he's got a big lead already.
Yeah, Balzer pulling out a little bit on Tomasunis, so must have had a small mistake there for the MXSoccer.com rider. Shirley
in third. Yep.
Yeah, Riley Hewen getting blocked past there by Caleb Hall. They're squaring off.
Battle. This jump claimed a victim on the previous lap. They both get it clean.
How the whoops
challenging are the whoops? Is there
Tomasunis down? And he's going to lose several positions. And down behind him,
here's the chaos.
Casey Cochran. Yeah, a lot of people getting stacked up in the corner. As Tomasunis does a barrel roll and lands it.
What?
Somehow stayed on 2 wheels there, but we got several riders going by, and I think this is all right on the edge of transfer. This is 9th right here. Ryan Pinkerton on the TM Factory Racing VlastMX.com number 395. He's right behind his teammate. We got several riders down. Emmett Sund is in there, and Matthias Janis trying to get up, and who else was at the front of that? Well, here's Egeland finally from that first turn crash.
Well, it's all played in his favor. 6 riders go down, and Egeland able to make up a lot of spots.
So he's now right on the back door of his teammate Caleb Hall here, and we still have Branson on the all lime green setup just in front of them.
No numbers, no problem.
Yeah. And here's Egeland around the outside on his teammate. Probably going to be just given the spot here, I would have to assume, as he's trying to move forward. And looks like he's moved up into about 7th spot, I think, right here.
Actually, I figured he'd be further forward, even though he did have the first turn crash with the amount of carnage that we saw in that first lap and a half. And this is where it's time to bust out the Visine. When you get this first-person perspective of Egeland, it's incredible, the speeds.
Yeah, Egeland closing right up there on Cody Branson. See what lap time he lays down. Maybe the first clean lap he's going to get in right here, and he's going to put down a 50.7 to the 51.4 out of Branson. Branson goes off the track. So Eaglin moves up into 6th, and the charge continues. He's about 2 corners behind our race leader right now. And we'll see if he can't maybe match his championship counterpart, I should say, Dominic Tiberino, winning that first heat race. So we'll see whether or not Eaglin can come through and steal the win here. We got a rider down. Oh. That is Anthony Pachone, and Eaglin just missed him. We got riders trying to take evasive action in the whoops. Let's see if Pachone gets up safely. He's backing into the middle of the whoops, and he took a couple down with him. Daniel Irvine down, and a couple other people were stacked up in there. Woo!
There's no shortage of carnage. Is this a little bit more of a technical racetrack? Is this opening round jitters? What is happening in your opinion here? Because we're seeing a lot of riders go down.
Yeah, I think it could be a little bit of both. I think this track definitely is reaching up and biting these guys more than we expect. So technicality probably a little bit higher. Maybe they just weren't expecting a track like this. A lot of these guys practice on a lot different tracks than this. They don't always play these same type of tracks over and over again. As Branson tries to go down the inside of Caleb Hall and loses a spot, Tomasunis able to get back by. Sneak back up front and see what we're taking a look at here. It's Balzer, Seth Shirley, and Riley Hewen just getting up from a crash. So Eaglin's climbed his way all the way up to 4th now on the number 1 Panini Motorsports Underground RC machine, and he is still trying to march to the front with just over a minute and a lap remaining in this thing. See if he can't steal a win away from Balzer out front.
Eaglin, yeah, representing the Great White North. Doesn't have to go up against the former Supercross champion of Canada, Phil Nicoletti. In real life, Phil would have absolutely, positively no use for anything you're seeing on your screen right now. But Eaglin certainly likes it, and the rider representing Canada well. Another rider down. He's just picking him off as they make the mistakes. We got a battle on our hands.
Yeah, it looks like Hewen is now on the back door, or I should say Eaglin's on the back door of Hewen, and Shirley still ahead of them, so what would have been a lapped rider that was down. Balzer's still in the lead, okay. But here comes Eaglin trying to sneak up the inside of the whoops. Can't quite get there just yet.
Going to be a little bit of a strategy play here. I don't know what kind of race you want to take in the last lap, and I like to say that. Eaglin almost throws it away.
Somehow, some way, he didn't fall down onto the ground as they made contact in midair, and there it goes. Oh, is he going to land it? Oh, Hewen down.
Wow, Travis Pastrana, that rodeo air right there. Nitro Circus might be paying, and then another rider clips him. And a massive front. And now,
yeah, that was Branson getting together with Tomasunis. So Hewen trying to avoid all the contact happening as he was getting up from his crash. Allowed some riders through. Seth Garrett also went by with Caleb Hall. Seth Shirley's lost a spot to Eaglin. So Eaglin's all the way up to 2nd now with just the super sweet out front of Rasmus Balzer holding on, trying to win this thing. 6 minutes have gone, so the white flag will be waving next time by. We'll see that obviously denoted in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. It's a green flag right now on lap 8, but when the white flag is waving on the racetrack, that'll change to a white background, and we'll know that the white flag is waving. So as Balzer brings us down to the finish line jump here, it's going to double in, and there it is, the white flag now waving here in Houston. Can Eaglin run him down from this far back? Looking unlikely, but he's going to try to do it here on the final lap.
Hey, not bad for going down in turn 1. Barely able to survive a close call 1 lap ago, but from essentially last to 2nd, certainly the defending champ here on his game to start 2021. But this is, as I said, almost a strategy play. I don't know, the way this track has turned out, some of this racing, these guys might just want to look to get through the night consistently and avoid the disaster, because this can bite you at any time, and it almost happened right there.
Yeah, that cliche of not being able to win the championship at the opening round, but you certainly can lose it coming into play here for some of these guys, especially in a shortened series like this 250 East Championship. Only 9 rounds to make some dents, and you got to make it count. As Rasmus Balzer is going to take us down to the checkered flag here, and it's Balzer taking the win in 250 Heat number 2.
Light some candles. Balzer from gate to flag, essentially, in this one.
So watching a few come through. There's Shirley in 3rd. Garrett's going to come across in 4th, and we got Hewen in 5th, Cody Branson 6th, 7th for Janice, 8th for Sun, and P9 right now is Caleb Hall. Daniel Irvine trying to make one last-ditch effort here. Woo, almost through the front door on that atom.com number 96, but it looks like it will be Caleb Hall hanging on. Oh, that actually was 8th, so Emmett Sund is down before the finish line. He is off the side of the track. Oh, he missed a finish line jump entirely. He's trying to get righted now. He's going to come across there. Looks like officially accredited him with 10th, so he must have clipped the finish line at some point.
Oh, Son must be so bummed.
Big storyline right here, though, is Daniel Mills 12th in this one. Mills won 2 races last year, including the showdown at Salt Lake City. So a huge missed opportunity here in this heat race to go straight through to the main event. He's going to have to go through the LCQ, and he's bringing all these riders with him as top 9 looks like it stayed the same. No, I'm sorry. Emmett Sund is going through, actually. So he, on cuts, Casey Cochran getting bumped. And Cochran only had 0.6 of a second of cuts and somehow just getting bumped out there. So maybe something happened there. Emmett Sund ending up in P9, though. And Caleb Hall, Matthias Janis, Cody Branson, Riley Hewen, Seth Garrett, Seth Shirley, Colby Eagland, and Rasmus Balzer all going through. Crazy.
Well, that was quite a shakeup. And yes, when you take into account those cuts, that is the Casey Cochran, correct?
That is the Casey Cochran.
Didn't lose much time, but it was just enough. So he's headed to the LCQ now.
Correct, yeah. So everybody that was back of P9 there, so 10th through 20th in that one, headed to those last chance qualifiers. And the top 9 now headed to the main event. We got 18 riders seeded into the main events for the 250 East main event number 1 on the season here at Houston 1. Now it's time for the big dogs, though. 450s coming up. We're going to see guys like our defending champion Jeremy Seabolt, former champions in Jack Haley and Alexis Leclerc. I believe we also have former champion Byron Downen showing his face here tonight. 2014 champion, hasn't been around too much of late, but he's going to be around here tonight. And we're going to see a lot of familiar faces like Adam Holm and new faces as well like Isaiah Dickerson and Braden Carter moving up to the 450 class this year. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see which heat races these guys are split up into. We may have a very heavy-handed heat race with a lot more talent in one versus the other. It always depends on qualifying times as it does in real life as well. So we'll see how things shake down in the 450 class.
Well, I'm really curious as well, you know, in the, I don't want to insult anyone here, in the real Supercross racing, we normally see a little bit more chaos and carnage in the 250 class. Would that be a factor here, or can the 450s get just as wild here with the MotoOption series?
I think that the 450 class, it's got a sharper cliff. I think the 250 class, you kind of gradually go down in skill level.
Okay.
The 450 class definitely has the potential to get a little wild and crazy around the transfer spots.
All right.
But the leaders, as mentioned, are going to be guys that can really just put in lap after lap of perfection, usually run just completely clean races without much problem. So it comes down to who gets to start and who can run up front early in a lot of these.
We need to get another camera in here to just watch how Kellen's able to, like a piano player, tickle the ivories here and switch from one thing to another. Really, between the races is where you're making your money, dude. And I know it's a lot. And we need another camera on that. It's kind of like when you're watching a car race and they show the guys heel towing on the pedals. Oh, just a maestro. Keep this going. All right,
Yep.
Leclerc, saw him at opening ceremonies. Really cool story brewing there. Frenchman, correct?
Yep, Frenchman, and on the Arminus Jastakonis Originals team, so AJ Originals. And you may have seen Leclerc on that Rockstar Energy Factory Husqvarna team the last 2 years, but as Arminus Jastakonis in real life is not going to be on that team this year after his violent crash in Mantova, I guess he started his own team, AJ Originals, and Leclerc came over with him, as did several other riders we'll see on that AJ Originals team this year. But we see Jeremy Seabolt, defending champion, on the line, Colton Mitchell to his left, Tyler Lang to his right, and a lot of heavy hitters in it. It's the 450 class, heat number 1 here at Houston. Looks like a good jump for Lang on the 14, but Leclerc trying to drag him into the first corner. Leclerc down the inside, very clean start. Oh, but a little bit of a hiccup there, and Lang getting together with, I think that was Braden Carter. It is Leclerc, though. Kohenauer on the 20 right behind him, and a lot of casing as Kohenauer gets held up, and we got a guy tripling over. It's Yannick Blum, privateer effort out here, moves into the race lead. The rider out of Germany leading a Frenchman and an American in the top 3 as we complete lap number 1 on to lap number 2.
Kokenauer right there as well. Like the numbers on our leader's bike. Looks like just drawn on there with some sharpness. You don't need style when you got speed, and then some more carnage behind him. But Leclerc trying to come down to the inside in the 7. Let's see if he can set this up. Beautiful block pass. No! Knifing back underneath. So Bloom not taking any gruff from anybody. Side by side through the whoops. Leclerc's going to try to run it in deep, and he gets him.
Oh, a little bit of lag there. That's one of those things that happens in these games. We're not playing on land in the same area as everybody, so some of these guys, Leclerc and Bloom, the German, both playing on an American server here, getting a little bit of lag involved, unfortunately, between them. But Bloom able to, looks like, get up and still be inside of the top 4, but it moves Kohenauer up into the 2 spot. Dylan Copeland now in 3rd. And here's Devin Davis in 4th. There's Braden Carter. He was down in the first turn chaos. He's already up to 5th, so a good recovery there. Then we got Colton Mitchell. Oh, Davis down before the finish line jump. He's going to try to get it squared around as Seabolt goes by, and a host of others. I see Blakely and Brandon Holmes also in the mix. There's Lang on the 14. He was down in the first corner as well. As Holmes lays it down in front of Lang. And, ooh, there's a bit of a stack up here. The 13 getting in there. Alex Kerr was down. There's Logan Leitzel. He was also down. A lot of these guys a little further back out of transfer spot right now. The transfer spot is actually right behind our champ. It's Gunnar Fugler on the Team T, number 52. Sabrina Ritzler right behind him, MX Simulator's fastest female. And Chase Blakely moves around her to get up into that 10th position as he tries to tail down on Fugler ahead of him.
Still going for top 8s for transfers in this heat, so we'll see how this one turns out. Gunnar working his way back across this start straight. And this section right here, it doesn't even seem like a leader or anyone in a transfer position is safe, even going across that start straight into the last corner. Seen some action right there. Oh, it's our early leader.
Yeah, Yannick Bloom getting back onto the track in front of Fugler. Must have had a mistake. So Fugler trying to capitalize and put a little bit of a cushion between himself and that Blakely Lang freight train coming behind him. You can see these two, both these guys, former winners. Actually, Lang just coming off of the 2020 250 Outdoor Championship, so making his 450 full-time debut this year. So both those guys really would like to make it into this main event right off the rip here. And Fugler keeping them at bay for the time being.
All right, Fugler. We haven't seen anyone really uncork the bigger rhythm in that lane for a while, and that did lead to some trouble in the first 250 heat. So maybe everybody's going to leave that aside, see how it goes throughout the night. Can the 450s, as they do in reality, are there bigger jump combos that sometimes can be done?
Absolutely. I think this track might be a little tougher for it because of the way that the lines are shaped out. There's not really a quad or anything special in there that they could get. But oftentimes we do see the 450 guys able to, crank out a quad or crank out something bigger than the 250 guys are able to do. And certainly creates a little bit more intense action in a close battle to try to make those lines stick when you're still fighting with someone right in front of you or behind you.
Want to give credit to Tyler Lang on that number 14, the red gas. So by running the Cole Seeley number on a red gas, he thus becomes the first rider in history to confuse the world, to make you think he's on a Honda, but he's not. And Lang off the track, but he had to take evasive action.
Yeah, Reed Young was down, and he was also down with Yannick Bloom, I think, just got up in front of them. So Bloom now into the final transfer spot. Lang capitalizing on that, goes from 10th up to 8th. Fugler is now in 7th. Your defending champion, Seabolt, he is running in 6th right behind Copeland. Colton Mitchell up here in 4th. Braden Carter, getting a little sideways in the whoops, but corrals it together. He's up in 3rd. Kohenauer still in 2nd. And the Frenchman Leclerc streaking away with this one out front, but a little mistake here at the end of this rhythm is going to cost him some time. 7 seconds clear of Kohenauer behind him.
So with Seabolt back in 6th, for example, he might be able to make a few positions up before it's over. How critical is gate pick going into the main?
It sometimes is very critical. On this track, it doesn't seem like that's the case, though. Long start straight, long sweeping left-hand first corner. We have seen a lot of those starts come from the inside so far, so maybe that hurts him a little bit. You end up 6th in this one. You get 12th gate pick. Not ideal, but I think if he gets a good jump, he can still kind of corral everybody from the outside and maybe just swoop in and still grab a hole shot.
Leclerc real quick through the whoops and clean through that right hand, 180, and then the triple. Oh! Just able to pull it back together, the Frenchman. Wow, that was too close for comfort. And again, on to the top of the table. So no one choosing to jump all the way over. Can't argue with the results of Leclerc right now with a big lead. Another rider down. And another lap going to click off for the Frenchman.
Yeah, Leclerc cruising out front right now. Kohenauer not able to do much. Carter looked like he was closing on Kohenauer, but just went off the track right there. Got to be careful with the track reentry, not to take somebody down and not to get too many cuts by being off the track. He's got Mitchell and now Seabolt up into 5th. So we have teammates running 4th and 5th. These guys finished 1 and 2 in the championship last year and trying to start the season off on the right foot here in Houston. But they got to go through the heat race first, and they might have to battle each other first as well. Seabolt getting a little out of shape there.
Where do we rank Seabolt right now? Is he absolutely the man to beat, or is it a pretty parity-driven field, or is it like who can challenge last year's champion?
Well, it's really tough because this man right here, Leclerc, absolutely dominated the outdoors and was pretty much untouchable. So you might put Leclerc ahead of him in terms of raw speed right now. The thing about Leclerc was last year he actually straight up missed the main event at the opener, so he's starting the season off on the right foot here by not doing that, leading this one and maybe taking home the win. But he did miss the main event at the opener last year, put him at the back foot, and he just never quite recovered from that to fend or battle for the championship on any level. So
the speed and the ability is there.
Correct.
See if he can execute this year as we're watching Koener on the 20 over that start stretch and into the whoops. How challenging are the whoops in this game? Is there a technique to it, or is it just hold her back and pin?
There's a little bit of a technique to it. You definitely kind of have to pump each whoop as Koener actually has Braden Carter trying to square him off on the inside here for second. Whoa. Carter's going to go over triple. That might be the line down the inside, but he actually cased it. He's still going to try to go inside and triple. It's going to be a drag race. Oh, Carter a little short. So Leclerc takes the heat win out front. Koener second, and Carter going to be third there.
Good effort by Carter to try to get that spot.
Absolutely, as Mitchell will come across fourth. Seabolt through in fifth, so he'll get about 9th or 10th gate pick there. Here is Copeland in sixth. Tyler Lang seventh. Bloom eighth. And 9th is Reed Young, but Luke Magnetti trying to close up. Oh, he lays it down before the finish line jump. And that is going to allow Fugler through. Here's Blakely. And it looks like it will, in fact, have been Reed Young to make it through. He's got a 3-second cushion there, so pretty unlikely cuts will factor. Rogers, Davis, Kerr, Ritzler, Speck, Leitzel, Twiddle, and Holmes all not making it through. They're going to be headed to that last chance qualifier as Alexis Leclerc stamping his authority at the beginning of the season here with an early win.
Okay, so he's definitely made himself a marked man going into that main event. We didn't get to see him battle with Seabolt or really much of anyone else in that, so it could change in the main depending on the starts. But it is fun to see the 450s do some battle there. Again, a lot of carnage, a lot of bites down. At least in this game, I don't have to feel so bad that it could lead to injury, so I can actually play that up instead of playing it down. So I appreciate that. I hope I don't make that a habit as we get ready for what would be heat race number 2 of the 450 class. It's really fun to watch and really cool to have this, I'm going to call it, not just underground raceway and hobbies, but it's an underground thing. I didn't even know this was happening. I know that you call these races, and I eventually do see it only via my 6-year-old son who watches these archives. But to know that these are happening, especially now at the hype, it's round 1. We've all got Houston 1 fever in reality coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of hype. So, man, I feel good. If I'm ever going to jump in the seat for one race, it's probably the one to do it.
Absolutely. And a lot of people in chat also saying thanks for showing up tonight, Weege. It's great to have you in the booth.
Cool.
Glad to hear that you're having a good time so far.
Yep.
Still got another heat race to go before we get to those last chance qualifiers. A reminder, my buddy Brian Haskell's been posting the link in chat for you guys. We are doing that MotoOption hoodie giveaway a little bit later on. It's actually going to be just after this heat race. So entries have already closed for that. So thank you guys who have entered that one. But we're going to be doing that giveaway here in just about 10 minutes. So stay tuned as you'll want to hear your name called just in case you did win that giveaway. But appreciate MotoOption Clothing. Again, 10th year that MotoOption Clothing has been title sponsor of the series. They've been a fabulous sponsor all the way through and has made this experience a lot of fun for myself and also to have Jason Wygant in booth with us as the 10th season of MotoOption Supercross getting started here in Houston.
Now, were you just a racer at one point?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
You're not that old.
No.
You haven't been a retired announcer for 10 seasons.
No.
Okay.
When MotoOption took over as a title sponsorship, there was a different broadcast crew doing it at the time. So
okay, all right, you're not 10 years deep on this yet.
Yeah, we started Start Your Systems as a company, started streaming these races in 2015. So we've been doing it now for 6 years. This is our 7th year being part of the series, and obviously having a lot of fun doing it. Can't thank everybody enough for showing up here tonight as well and making chat entertaining as always.
Yeah, and judging by the stands here, we don't have to run limited capacity
No.
here in the simulator. So we've got packed stands here at Reliant Stadium in Houston. Beautiful place to hang out, have had a good time being here in Houston for the last couple of days. Do I need to fake that part or we're good? No, we're here in California.
Yeah,
okay.
We're in California having a good time. Got 450 Heat 2 coming up as mentioned. Jack Haley, 2019 champion, is going to be in this one. Alex Heckman, 2014 champion Byron Downen is here tonight. Dennis Fjellberg on the number 3. He's out of Norway. Bobby DeSalle also in here. Kyle Carpenter flipping, Casey Ohlert. These guys out doing a little bit of a parade lap right now is what's going on. And I was trying to click on Adam Holm, but I can't quite seem to find him. By the way, thank you so much for the donations coming in. Roy Mitchell with the $100 donation, really appreciate that. Scooty Puff Jr., thank you for the $20 donation. You guys are absolutely crushing it. Best in the world, best community out there. You guys are awesome, and we're so happy to bring you guys some more action here as 450 heat number 2 revs up again, and we are timing dropping the gate. As off in the middle, looks like Holm got a good jump at the 25 down the inside, might beat him. Some contact halfway down the start. The 25 is going to lead into the corner. Does he lead out? Yes, he does. It's Bryce Whelan, SwapMotoLive.com, but he's immediately off the track, and that hands it over to Adam Holm, the atom.com number 17 machine from Whelan. DeSalle also mixed in there, but he's going to get passed as Kyle Carpenter comes in from off track out there. Devin Ryan mixed up as we got some close action over the finish line jump. A little bit less stacked heat maybe as Devin Ryan over the bars.
And into the Steve Mathis Memorial net for the triple front flip.
Absolutely. Also see that Payson Johnson looks to have made this race tonight. The number 8 machine, last year's 250 outdoor champion. Looks like he is going to be racing 250 West a little bit later on. So good to see Johnson out there. But yeah, also some guys flipping through in the background as everybody's trying to settle in. It's Holm, Whelan, and DeSalle top 3. And DeSalle going to work already on Whelan in second.
Yeah, but the Team Nami rider, see if he can roll up right now. DeSalle, inside was covered beautifully, so nowhere to go for DeSalle to make that pass in this heat race. So it'll be interesting to see how the lines develop in this one. You've seen some guys trying to triple on the inside as they cross over that start stretch or right before they do. That's a hard one to get. You got to get a lot of pop. And whatever you gain by being on the inside, you might lose with all that hang time. We're hooking back onto the start stretch now. We'll check that out at about a quarter of a lap. We got a gas here, or is that a Honda?
That is a Honda.
Straight up Team Nami.
Nope.
Okay, Team Nami
it's
bike
Team Nami, but it's on a Honda. Yeah.
Okay. Now, he was a coveted free agent. Honda wanted to snap him up, get him off of the Nami racing machine.
Yeah, Bryce Whelan, he was a little out of shape in the whoops there, but he actually might be closing slightly on our leader, Adam Holm. This little 3-pack kind of breaking away from everybody else, and close quarters. DeSalle looks like the man mostly on the move right now, though. Closing up onto Whelan, but again, Holm right off the front. Let's actually go on board here with DeSalle, take a look from his perspective as these guys in front of him.
The maestro Kellen working the piano keys here, switching from view to view. Oh, they got the pit boards out as well. No rider can ever read that much information in real life, but you can see how quickly they are able to process information at this speed. Rough down that start stretch.
Yeah, these guys hitting some acceleration bumps on corner exit. DeSalle trying to lay the power down on that Team Nami machine. As actually we got a change for the lead up front. Oh no, it's sideways and he's down. That was Whelan down. Yeah, DeSalle getting into the back of Bryce Whelan, who was down. So Carpenter moves through, and somehow Holm avoided the flipping bike, as it were, of Bryce Whelan going down alongside of him. So a big gap now for Holm. DeSalle trying to hold off as Carpenter moves in right behind. And we got the 34 and 39 machines here doing action. We got a rider off track, and Trent Adams is going to lose 2 spots as through goes Robert Wilson and Bryce Whelan, who was able to get back up from that fall rather quickly. Got Trent Adams back here, Dennis Fjellberg on the 3. Alex Heckman in a transfer spot, and it looks like Downen, our 2014 champion, is in transfer right now in P9. Trying to hold on. There's Payson Johnson in our 2019 champ. Jack Haley getting together. Haley is down. And there's Walter Gebhardt, who won last year's opener. He is down as well. And Jay Turner flips into the mix as well. So we got a couple single-digit guys here outside of transfer right now. We got Dalton Plessinger, Aaron Plessinger's younger brother. Down the inside, Gebhardt trying to get Haley squared off down the start straight here. Close action. But again, these guys are outside of transfer. 11th for Haley, and he's got some ways to go before he's up to that battle for 9th. So maybe it'd be better for these two to not battle with each other and instead get in a little bit of a tag team and go forward.
Tell you what, Haley's going to need some of that sponsor product if it ends up like this. Take the edge off before you go to the LCQ. Really, I'm seeing some parity here. Really hard to tell lap to lap who's going to be the favorite in some of these battles. Often comes down to the mistakes.
Yeah, it looks like Haley closing up on Alex Heckman just ahead of him there. That would be 10th. Still needs another position.
All right, that is for position.
That is for position, yeah. Heckman in P10 right now. But they're trying to run down the 14 champ of Downen, and a little hiccup there in the corner. Somehow Haley got stopped in time to not run into the side there of Alex Heckman. You can see Gebhardt just pressuring Haley, trying to push him forward. Gebhardt, very, very quick rider there on the number 5, but just can't quite get anything done yet. They're putting the pressure on Heckman.
Wow.
Almost 3 wide through this rhythm lane.
This could get dicey into this 180. Everyone tries to play it clean.
And looks like Gebhardt's going to go for the option line, is to not get mixed up with these guys. So Haley triples down the inside. This will be the move, but he hits the inside pole and goes down. He clipped his head on the pole and has an instant fall-off crash. So Gebhardt able to make the pass, but Heckman survives a little bit there as he stays in P10. They're still trying to chase down Downen, who is just holding steady, though, in 9th.
Oh, he's got to be worried. Getting those footsteps back there. Shout out, by the way, for our leader, Adam Holm. Pulling away. There he is on the number 17. I don't believe Joey Savacci from 2017 is the look he was aiming for, but that is the look that he does have on that monster Kawasaki look. Well, Savacci was 17, not just in 2017, all the way through 19 with the 450 Kawi. So I'll say it's 2019 Savacci, even though that's not who he actually wants to look like, but it is who he looks like.
Yeah, Holm got the very replica setup there. Some guys like to do the full replica, some guys don't. Really just depends. Obviously, the Team Nami guys are doing their own little spin-off on the Team Nami from
this video
classic
game much more realistic
movie
than that movie.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. DeSalle doing a good job, man, despite the mistakes. Holding steady. No drama as far as making it into the main event. So he looks good here in the Team Nami machine over the start straight, but almost got over that tabletop. And then here's that triple out. Wow, that's some good 90-degree corner carving by DeSalle. And able to get the triple also. And now we see the white flag flying. And yeah, the colors change from green to white on the upper right side of the screen. So just trying to bring it home, these leaders.
So Holm trying to hold on. DeSalle trying to chase him down. And Whelan still all alone in 3rd. It's Wilson in 4th. Then we got Payson Johnson in 5th. He looks to be safe as well. Carpenter ahead of Fjellberg. That's 6th and 7th. Downen has now slid up into P8, so he's a little bit safer. And now it's Trent Adams on the bubble, but we still not seeing Jack Haley or Gebhardt in this main event just yet. They have to make one more pass, at least one of them. Gebhardt's pushing Haley all the way, and this would be huge to see 2 heavy hitters like this go to that last chance qualifier and put themselves on the back foot.
Oh, Haley's got to resist doing a shot if that happens. Jack Daniels, if he does not get into the main, got to sweat it out through the LCQ, but it's going to be hard to even hold on to this position, although we've seen crashes can happen at any time. Positions can be picked up if it does take place. These guys are really pushing it. Little mistake.
There's Haley. He's got the move. So now Gebhardt also moves through into 10th. And this battle for 9th is going to come down to these two right here. And oh boy, if they take each other out, there's going to be some words exchanged. As Gebhardt tries to go to the inside, still goes for the triple. Is he going to have the drive to the inside of the corner? Haley goes to shut the door. And no, Haley to the main, Gebhardt to the LCQ. Close action there at the end, but it goes to the number 2 machine. Adams comes across in 11th. Braden Castellaneta there in 12th. And 13th, Isaiah Dickerson, your 2019 250 East champion, is there. Burns, Turner, Heckman, Cross, Ryan, Dalton Plessinger, Casey Yoler all missing out as well. And it's going to come down to cuts, I think, on this Haley
Well, I was worried about that. The
situation
cuts could end up having an impact here.
Yeah. So we'll wait and see if those cuts are going to come through. Remember, we're about to announce the winner. About to announce the winner of that MotoOption clothing hoodie. And getting
not
some...
free, though. Not free for me. Because you know I'd be all
Well, you could have entered the contest.
I could have entered the contest,
you
I suppose. I got one free here from Fly Racing. So
all right.
I'll just stick with that.
Cuts are in, and Haley does stay the course. Does not get bumped. A couple other positions changed, but it was Holm confirmed as the race winner here, 450 heat number 2. All right, let's go ahead and real quick, let's go ahead and announce our winner. Let's get me and Weege on the screen here. Got to figure out where I am and go to this.
The maestro tickling the ivy here. Kellen Brauer working not just the vocal cords, but the mouse and the keyboard and the dual monitors and the microphone as well as we get ready for our intermission show. So pretty interesting right now. I don't think necessarily the last year's champs had the heat races that they wanted. So they've had to overcome some adversity to get in. Really impressed what we saw from Adam Holm in that previous heat race. We didn't see any mistakes. We didn't actually see him much because a lot of the action was behind.
Yeah.
But he's definitely coming out house of fire like he probably wants his guy Adam Cianciarulo to do the same.
Absolutely. I think that you're going to see these guys try to take those optimal gate picks to their advantage and maybe get a good start and get out front, just like we saw in those heat races out of those guys. They're going to want to get up front early and let all the chaos be the chaos behind them and focus on the race ahead of them. Let's go ahead and pick our winner, though, for this MotoOption clothing hoodie competition or hoodie giveaway. The MotoOption Stacked Elite Personalized Hoodie. It's a black hoodie with the design color of your choice accented in white. Design features the Stacked logo on the front chest and our motto on the right sleeve. Then they add a name and race number to the back. The Elite version features your choice of accent color and white contrast color, making this design pop. And your winner tonight of the MotoOption Houston 1 giveaway is Carson Reedy. Carson Reedy. That is REEDY. Carson Reedy. You have won the MotoOption Houston 1 giveaway. We have your email saved, so we'll be reaching out to you. But Carson Reedy, congratulations. And thanks again, MotoOption Clothing, for all the support over the years, making things happen, doing a fabulous job as the title sponsor of our series. All right, well, we're little intermission here, waiting for these LCQs to come in. Kellen Brauer joined by Jason Wygand in the booth, having a good time here, bringing you guys all the action. And now it's crunch time. These last chance qualifiers, only 4 riders going through, and a chance to make it into the first main event in either the 250 East or 450 championship of the year. And a lot of these guys probably going to be going for broke just to make it in.
Well, you mentioned that Leclerc didn't make the main event at the opener last year, so there's a lot of pressure on someone if they had some championship dreams or implications that they got to be scrambling. So I'm assuming back at the rigs you got mechanics working overtime to get these bent-up motorcycles ready.
Absolutely. These guys, after some of the crashing that we saw, some of the funny moments, we got some bent swing arms and some bars and some forks and stuff that need to be straightened out, and these guys are going to be ready to go for those last chance qualifiers. Want to give a couple shout-outs real quick. More Than Moto for the $15 Australian dollar donation, killing it, watching it from down under, little entertainment during the holidays. We'll see if I can qualify for novice. And also Pinned 166, going down in the history books as one of the best MXS streams of all time. Thank you so much for that. Talon Guiberto for the $9.99. Love the content. Keep up the good work. And obviously, big shout out again, Roy Mitchell at the very beginning of the stream. $100 donation says, excited for another year. Keep up the good work. Jack Haley, number 1.
Roy Mitchell, you are crazy. Much deserved. But you know me, man. I got the alligator arms. I'm not reaching back. I'll just give Kellen respect because that cost me nothing. Wow, impressive what you've been able to put together here. Like I said, there needs to be a behind the scenes, the maestro, as we work our way through intermission and the different screens. Should be interesting. I mean, those last chance battles are usually even better than the heats, but the heats had some legit action for the final transfer spot, so this is going to get good, everybody. As we wait for the track maintenance, we're going to say, and I believe they have a Wiener Schnitzel Wiener Dog Challenge, maybe a Phil Nicoletti jersey that's available via the JGR people. These are the different halftime shows they've had at the actual Supercross.
Well, what about the Stasic race? I'm sure there's a Stasic race out there, too.
Bad news. I've been invited. My son has been invited to do a Stasic race again in 2021.
Okay.
It was such a horrible, embarrassing moment for his dad that I don't know if his dad is even going to get involved again. But the option, the MotoOption, so to speak, is out there. We're ready to go.
Try to fix this real quick.
That's not it. Okay.
Weird. All right, here we go. Time to go racing once again.
Wow.
As we are off and running in this 250 LCQ. I don't know why this isn't displaying right now. Let me know if you guys can see that in chat.
A massive
riders going down.
Crash.
Casey Cochran getting the whole shot. Why is this not displaying right now? Very, very confused.
All right, I'll take the announcing while Kellen tries not to pull his hair out figuring this out. Cochran on the gas, both in reality and here in the game. Looking good. Cochran saying this is a preview of a real Supercross is going to look like in the 250 class in a couple of years when I'm pro, except it'll be in heat races and mains, not LCQs. But he'll have to make it happen either way. He was in some chaos there in the heat, and then we had the course cut situation. So Cochran is back with a vengeance here. He is a gas racer, like I said, in reality, and he's making it look good. I'm impressed with how many gas bikes we've seen in the qualifying races today. Obviously, the brand's starting to catch on. with some of the players.
Yeah, some of these guys are stoked about the new gas teams, I think, and that's their way of replicating it. So we got Bob Joe running in second, Benjamin Saves is in third, and Brady Stanley is in fourth. That is your top four right now. J.R. Reyes on the SwapMotoLive.com, number 552. He is up in fifth and trying to keep close tabs on this front group as Bob Joe just went down on the 103. He's going to get up. Yeah, great name.
Absolutely.
Still running in fourth, though, so he's holding on to a transfer spot for the time being, but that's going to be J.R. Reyes trying to sneak up and steal this one away from him. Looks like Cochran may have just gone off the track out front, but he's already rejoined and safe there. So battle for second brewing, perhaps. Benjamin Saves and Brady Stanley. Saves the rider out of France, and Stanley the rider out of Australia, so quite literally on opposite sides of the world from each other right now, but still competing against each other here in this last chance qualifier.
Well, I'll tell you what Saves is trying to do. He's trying to Saves that second place spot and just cling to a position in the main event with the Frenchman there, and then under pressure from the Team Jack Daniels Racing rider out of Australia, but he's off the racetrack.
Yeah, off the track, and here comes Bob Joe down the inside on the 103. He's going to make that pass and sticks it as well. Stanley taking a little bit of time to get through that corner and not able to sneak back on the inside. A good battle for third. Not quite that transfer spot battle yet, but J.R. Ray is still lurking back there just in case as Bob Joe cases the on-off, and Stanley squeaks down the inside. Now Joe's going to try to fight back.
You'd like to have a guy like Bob Joe, that kind of name ringing out in the main event. Let's see if he can do it here. Stanley going to try to stand him up in this bowl berm. Bob Joe slices back underneath, and now it's going to be a big race to the whoops. A real critical juncture here at this 180. Stanley does a good job of opening up a little bit more distance so he didn't have to worry about the block pass.
Yep, and Bob Joe just very nicely settled in behind him there, not trying to overdo something into the corner, but he's right on his tail right now. And he's got to be a little bit wary of what's going on behind him. With J.R. Reyes trying to close up, Stanley able to open up a slight gap here. And being in third is always a little bit better than being in fourth in that last chance qualifier.
So Bob Joe going to re-rack it here. Maybe make another challenge on Stanley. Saves a little bit further up ahead. And we'll get you the order as they come back across here in a moment. Short races in these LCQs. I have a feeling, though, that some fireworks are yet to come. Oh, Joe
lays it down. Here comes J.R. Reyes. They're going to be about side by side at the end of the straightaway. No, Joe holds on. I think Reyes may have backed out of the challenge. They're trying to play it smart, but now we have a battle on our hands for this final transfer spot. Bob Joe and J.R. Reyes with Trevor Spencer sneaking up into the picture. It's about to be a three-rider battle.
That was a good recovery from the wash out of the front end, and now Reyes has problems.
Off the side of the track, able to corral it back together, but did lose a spot to his teammate, Trevor Spencer. Oh, Spencer a case, and he's going to lose that spot right back to J.R. Reyes, who goes down. So Reyes may be thinking a little bit too much about Bob Joe ahead of him, making some mental errors, and Spencer takes advantage of it. Now, can he run down Bob Joe and get into this main event?
Is that the real name? Is he really Bob Joe?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think
that is
maybe
superb if that would actually happen. And running the butterscotch, like 1995 colors like KTM ran back then. Bob Joe making a name out of himself, and what a name it is, ahead of the carnage behind him. And now he's starting to close back in. We might have another battle with Stanley, Saves, and Joe.
Yeah, Saves losing a little bit of time there in the whoops. Oh, Stanley went down.
Oh, boy.
Stanley down in the rhythm lane. That is going to be Chris Post then jumping into the final transfer spot. Stanley's trying to get going, and here comes Joseph Pilsner. We got a couple other riders back there. Looks like maybe J.R. Reyes and Trevor Spencer still in there as well, but now Post has P4 to himself, and he goes down just as he took it over. So Stanley is going to go back into the final transfer spot, and now he's got riders right on him. Oh, it looks like one of the Swap Moto Live riders went down. So Stanley fourth, and Pilsner now in fifth as time winding down in this last chance qualifier.
I cannot believe the action that we're seeing exactly as we thought it would happen in these LCQs. Things starting to heat up. Pilsner, man, that makes me feel like having one right now after seeing all the pressure these guys are under to hold on to these spots. Stanley was in, out, now back in. Post was out, in, out. And who knows what we have in store for us on these final laps.
We have Daniel Mills back here as well. And remember, Mills, a heavy hitter, at least expected to be a heavy hitter coming into this championship after 2 wins last year in the 250 West campaign, finished second out there on the West, and may not make it into this opening East main event of the year. He's got to get through Pilsner and now Bob Joe, who just got up from a crash ahead of him, as white flag is waving ahead of these guys, and Mills has jumped his way into 5th. He's now side by side almost with Bob Joe for 4th.
Oh, Bob Joe has got to be perfect here as we're in the waning moments. White flag is out. He's in the final transfer spot. Mills is trying to put something together. He's got to close in just a little bit more and then start showing him a wheel to Bob Joe.
Looks like we got a close battle ahead of these guys, too. Cochran must have gone down, and that's what caused the shakeup. So Stanley just ahead of Cochran, then Bob Joe and Daniel Mills. This is 2, 3, 4, 5 in this last chance qualifier. So one of these guys is going to miss out. Who's it going to be as Mills tries to get a great drive in the whoops? Bob Joe just trying to hold on for everything that he has ahead of him as Mills goes over that table. Little clip. Little wayward on the front. And there goes Cochran. Cochran is down. Bob Joe is hung up on him. As out front, it was Saves who came through and took the win, and Cochran may have just lost his chance to go to the main event. So it looks like Stanley is second, Mills is third, and is that Bob Joe? No, that's not. So we're waiting for Pilsner, looks like, to come through in 4th out of nowhere, and Spencer comes across in 5th. Behind him, Cochran settles for 6th, and Bob Joe must have been down there right before the finish because he comes across now in 7th. Tyler Shields going down. That changed in a hurry, and Cochran goes from leading to 6th late in this LCQ. He's going to have to hope for cuts to make it into tonight's main event.
What happened on that last lap? Or really, for Cochran, I think it was the last 2 or 3 laps. First, he dropped back a few positions, still in a qualifying spot, but then that final lap, unbelievable. It all fell apart for several riders. Bob Joe as well. Little freestyle action there, not on purpose by the rider in the TM. That was pure chaos.
Yeah, and very fortunate in the end for Daniel Mills, who was probably sweating bullets there, sitting behind Bob Joe, waiting to make a move happen, and ends up 3rd in this one, so he should be pretty safe going to the main event. Obviously going to be 21st gate pick, so not ideal as we wait for cuts, and it looks like it all stayed the same. Amazingly, no cuts changed anything inside of that top 6, 7. Looks like the first change of position was Tyler Shields there, goes up into 9th around Noah Viney, but everybody else 4th on back going home tonight, as it's going to be Saves, Stanley, Mills, and Pilsner, the final 4 men to make it into that 250 East main event.
Well, I'm bummed because I don't get to call the name Bob Joe anymore for the rest of the night in the 250 main event. Not going to happen. Bob Joe was in that spot for about 93% of the LCQ. He was within a transfer position. But getting tangled up with other riders, going down, and typical LCQ warfare craziness.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to probably see a little bit more of it now in the 450 class because we got some heavy hitters in it. Remember, Walter Gebhardt didn't quite make it through. Chase Blakely not in. So a couple guys that we're used to seeing make it into those main events probably going to have a little bit more of an uphill battle in this last chance qualifier. And as we kind of just saw in this LCQ, a lot of it comes down to starts. We didn't see some of the other guys that contended in heat race battles battle up front much in this LCQ, and it came down to starts. A guy like Nick Tomasunis ends up 19th in this one. Remember, he hole shot the heat race earlier today, so bummer for Tomasunis. He is out on the evening as we now jump in for the 450 last chance qualifier.
Well, that was what we were hoping to see. Obviously, not if you're the likes of Cochran or Bob Joe. You didn't want to see that happen because you didn't make the main, but that was some really good racing. And we'll see how it changes when we get into those main events, the longer races, if people actually pick their spots. Kellen keeps telling me that the top riders can do 20 minutes and not make a mistake and not go down. I'm going to be absolutely mystified if that happens because it looks like it's impossible to just keep it on 2 wheels, even when you're riding by yourself and not in a battle.
Yeah, this game has a tendency to, just when you think you've got it figured out, you're in your zone, it just reaches up and bites you and pulls you right back down to reality, and it can be a tough pill to swallow, especially if you're a guy like Cochran, everything was going smooth, everything was clean sailing out front, and suddenly you're just sitting on the sidelines watching the main events go off without you. It can be a real tough pill to swallow.
Can we get, though, some block pass takeouts? Can that happen in these LCQ battles as well?
Absolutely. We can definitely see guys we've seen in the past, very 2017 East Rutherford-ish LCQs where there's a lot of hopping tough blocks to kind of kill people and stuff like that.
Yep. Not backwards in the whoops, though. Please tell me.
We've seen some backwards in the whoops, yeah.
All right.
Sometimes we've even had LCQs that have been lawyered, if you will, where someone punts someone off the track or something like that for the for the final transfer spot, and they're like, no, we're gonna give it to the other guy.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit either cutting the track or just straight up dirty, aggressive things like that. Sometimes can come into play. Yep,
it's the first time ever in Supercross history. For some reason, in the real races, anything goes in an LCQ, and then the same exact thing in a main event, massive penalties.
Yep,
amazing how that works.
Alrighty, folks. Just one more race here tonight before we head into our main events, where the points will be paid out and where champions are made. So who is going to make it through into those main events? One more LCQ to find out. It's this 450 LCQ. Some big names: Caden Speck, Sabrina Ritzler, Zoa Cross, Trent Adams, Logan Leitzel, Walter Gebhardt in here. He will want to make it for sure. Luke Magnetti, Alex Heckman, Alex Kerr, Devin Davis, Tanner Rogers, Chase Blakely, Casey Ohlert, Trevor Burns, Jay Turner, Devin Ryan, Dalton Plessinger, Gunnar Fugler, Braden Castellaneta, just to name a few here as we get lined up and ready to go for the final qualifying race of the night. It's the 450 Last Chance Qualifier.
Okay, so buckle up, everybody. This should be a good one, and I cannot wait for these main events. We already saw in the 450 heats, Leclerc and Holm really establishing themselves. Who will join them as we get ready for the 450 LCQ?
Time to drop the gate one more time here in Houston. 450 LCQ live on SYS. Ooh, several riders hitting the gate, including Dickerson, your 2019 250 East champion. Who's going to get to the corner first? It looked like it was going to be Heckman, but he got pushed wide. Walter Gebhardt picking up the whole shot. That's going to be good news for him. He needs a clean race and get away out front early. Chaos already ensuing behind him. A rider went down on Devin Ryan. Devin Ryan now jumping up in a second. We got Heckman in third, and the 63 of Castellaneta trying to sneak in there, but Blakely down the inside on the 21 almost comes to blows. It's bar to bar for fourth at the end of lap one.
Well, you were saying that your leader there, Gebhardt, he was under pressure to get this done, so that was big.
Yeah, the number 5 machine, winner of the Anaheim opener last year and third in the championship last year as well, definitely does not want to go home here at Houston 1 before the main event gates even drop. So a huge hole shot there for him. He's going to try to get away from this field as the battle ensues now for second. Devin Ryan getting a little out of shape and goes down. Heckman hits him. Blakely goes through. Into the pileup goes Castellaneta. So up to third was Magnetti, but temporarily perhaps as Sabrina Ritzler's trying to find her way in. We got riders crashing in the background. Maybe 4 guys together in another crash. I think that was Castellaneta again. So Ritzler now is in the final transfer spot here right behind Magnetti. Devin Davis also lurking there. But how about it? Sabrina Ritzler, MX Simulator's fastest woman on the whip style machine out here. 2012 Indy SX 450 main event winner. Trying to make it into the main event. Devin Davis holding really close though, just to try to maybe make a pass attempt here before he gets too deep into this race.
So Ritzler's holding that final transfer spot. Davis going to try to make it happen here in this 29. If you're watching right now, let's see if he can close that gap, make it a little bit closer. Actually, might be more of a chance of Davis dealing with pressure as that Kerr rolling up.
Yeah, Alex Kerr, you got Casey Ohlert, Isaiah Dickerson, another guy that definitely wants to make it through, and that's Ritzler down.
Man.
And that's Gebhardt down too. Our leader is down, so the 5 machine has gone down. We got more riders crashing at the end of the whoops. It's chaos everywhere behind, so let's reset things for a second. Blakely to the front. Magnetti, his teammate, is in second. Devin Davis is now in third, and Isaiah Dickerson has climbed all the way up to fourth, so this is big news for Dickerson's sake to try to make it through. Bad news in the other end for Gebhardt is Dickerson trying to make a pass for third on Devin Davis.
So last year's opening round winner now looking at potentially not making the main. He's been pushed back to 7th after crashing while out front. As this battle rages right here, this is not Alex Martin back on Troy Lee Design's Red Bull, which would now be Gas. That's not A-Mart. But it is a transfer position in the main up for grabs.
Yeah, Dickerson putting the pressure on Devin Davis. Alex Kerr also lurking back there. And Gebhardt now regrouping. He is in 6th, and he can see that battle ahead of him. So if those two get together, Dickerson and Davis going at it for third. Dickerson down the inside, shuts the door, and makes a pass on Davis.
Beautiful move.
So we'll see if Davis can fight back and maybe try to challenge for that third spot, or will he be content to try to follow and stay in 4th without making mistakes?
So Dickerson into 3rd, has a little bit of an insurance policy right now. Davis right behind him, but running like a scalded dog, like a wounded animal. Gebhardt trying to catch these riders and make some passes and get into the main. That would be a disaster for a rider, I would assume, coming into this season as a title contender.
Absolutely, especially someone who could win races consistently last year, not just contend for the title in a point standpoint. Gebhardt, usually a guy that would run up front, 4 race wins. I believe he picked up 4 wins last year alone. As we got another rider down, I think that might be a lapped rider, so we're going to funnel through those guys. Magnetti has gone to the lead, though, so Dickerson second, Davis third, and Blakely is in fourth, so Blakely has coughed up the lead and gone backwards. Now Alex Kerr has a lot of riders right in front of him, and is kind of licking his chops, so he's going to jump off the track, so Gebhardt moves up into 5th.
All right, so that helped out Gebhardt, but Kerr right there to battle him again as they head across the finish line jump, so this one is not over.
Absolutely not, and this battle up front may play a bit of a factor. Blakely going to want to make the move here on Devin Davis. A couple veterans here. Davis, longtime player in this game, and Blakely shows him the rear tire as he goes up into the 3rd spot, and now Gebhardt licking his chops as P4 sits right in front of him on that 29.
Well, Davis actually was off the track in that rhythm right before they hooked onto the start. That opened the door. Past
contact, and he's into the bales. Oh, he's able to stay on 2 wheels. That's going to be crucial as he almost gets plowed into. Alex Kerr was going down at the end of the whoops, and a bit of a stack up there. I think that was Castellaneta again getting stacked up, but Davis, a little mistake in this first rhythm. That's going to be a chance for Gebhardt to make some time up here, and he's got less time to do it now. Time close to expiring. White flag should be out next time by, as Davis still just trying to hold steady. He's got Blakely in his sights ahead of him. Dickerson still in second, and it's Luke Magnetti on the number 30 out front, but we got a battle for the lead brewing, folks. That 26 machine is closing right up behind him.
Yeah, 26, man. That is a good look on that new brand, Gas here in Supercross. And now Dickerson starting to catch your leader, although that little exchange through those 2-3 corners we just went through, he lost a little bit of ground.
Ooh, rider in the background.
As we go back. Oh,
Blakely stacked up in the corner. There's Gebhardt for the move into 4th.
Clutch. That's exactly what Gebhardt needed if he wants to put this thing into the show. He has got to be sweating it right now. I cannot imagine if we had cameras on these players when they go down in an LCQ with the emotional trauma must be.
Oh, yeah.
Gebhardt's got a chance to rectify it.
It absolutely is much more intense than you think it is. When you're watching it from this viewpoint, sometimes you think, these guys are just, doing a game. They're just minding their business.
Heck
but
no.
Yeah, you get into the heat of a battle. You get into this moment of trying to transfer into the main event. Oh, man, your hands start shaking and your palms start sweating, and it gets real nerve-wracking real quick.
All right, we'll reset it for you here in a second. Oh, here's your battle.
Yeah, Magnetti and Dickerson still going at it for the race lead. This will be the race win with only a lap to go. Dickerson trying to close up, might have a line down the inside, and he does actually make that pass stick as Magnetti concedes the position, and Dickerson goes to the lead. Now Magnetti trying the alternate rhythm here, over table triple-double, not going to quite close up on Dickerson, so this is going to be an LCQ victory, and a very much needed one for that, as Isaiah Dickerson wins the 450 LCQ, Magnetti second, Devin Davis going to hold on for third, and Gebhardt sneaks in by the skin of his teeth into the main event. Blakely, the first man out. Castellaneta also not going through. There's Kerr, Devin Ryan, Logan Leitzel out. Sabrina Ritzler not going through either. Tanner Rogers, Casey Ohlert, Gunnar Fugler, Jay Turner, Caden Speck, Dalton Plessinger, Trevor Burns, Trent Adams, Zoe Cross, Alex Heckman. Few of the names we will not see tonight in the main event.
Well, Gebhardt certainly didn't want to go to the main with the 22nd gate pick, but beggars can't be choosers in that situation. His heart rate is rapidly dropping. He had to be so tense on those final 3 laps.
And another thing to factor in with these guys that you don't really see in many other race series is track time. So these guys all got 4 extra minutes of actual race track time, whereas everybody else watching them, they can play the track, but they're not in the heat of the battle. They don't see how the track is changing and developing. These guys maybe got a little bit more experience, and sometimes we've seen guys come straight from the LCQ and go right to the front of the main events.
I just keep this camera on Isaiah Dickerson for the next hour and watch this. That was some of the wildest moves. That was like a 720 barrel roll rodeo air, and he did crash it. And still putting in hard laps after the race. Why not?
Yep. Well, again, track time, you only have an hour before the race even starts to qualify. And then once the race starts, you get in the heat of the battle. Maybe you don't have enough time to learn the lines and how they're developing. You're just too focused on the racing action. So a little bit of after race time sometimes can be crucial to try to get yourself warmed up for those main events.
And you see Isaiah Dickerson going up through the gearbox there, making that Red Bull gas machine look good. Like I said, I'm only out here in California. I would like to say that I came out just for this opener. I was at Mathis's house for the Pulp Show on Monday, and then we put together our annual Monster Energy Racer X Supercross preview shows on Tuesday. We have the footage. Now it's in Kellen Brauer's very full hands to try to make this happen. Good luck. We're not throwing $100 donations at him for that project like you folks are at home here at Start Your Systems. So maybe we need to grease his palms a little bit to get him working on those shows. And then I have a Gas intro to actually host tomorrow at the KTM track, which, believe it or not, everybody, especially you Euros, it's like 15 minutes from Kellen's house.
Yep.
The actual KTM test track and North American headquarters, 15 minutes from this house.
I know, it's like living a dream.
Yes, it is, exactly. What you should do is charge rent. You could have your own. Like we have these riding things. You come over, get to ride the SoCal tracks, give you a bike. You probably have your geek squad to come out.
Probably.
And go to visit all these places and hang out in your studio.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you, no matter how you got out here. So thanks again so much, Jason Wygant, NBC Sports, Racer X Online. What else? Flat Track, ATV, Loretta Lynn's.
Yeah, but not Supercross.
But not Supercross,
This is the closest I'm going to get.
Hey, you're calling a Supercross race right now.
No, maybe this will become my audition tape. It's probably too late. They announced the announcers today, and once again, sorry about your luck, but I did get into the MotoOption series.
There you go. Perfect. Hey, we're always welcoming. Open arms here. Monster Energy, MotoOption clothing.
MotoOption.
Open arms all the time.
So, as we go to our main events, what's everyone going through right now? Are there actually things, you mentioned track time, that they can learn and get better? Are they actually thinking about things, or is it all about just execute when you're there? Are there actual lines that they're considering?
I think it's decision time for lines. I think for them, some of them are thinking, oh, do I go over table? Do I go on table? Do I triple here? Do I double here? Things like that. A lot of those guys are running through that in their minds right now because they want to be able to have a consistent race. They don't want to have a race where they're crashing every third lap because they're trying to go for the big lines now. This is 15 minutes. There's a lot of time out there. If you can get a good start, get up front, and run consistent laps, it's going to be a lot better than falling early and having to do those big lines to get through the field.
So our 250 main event coming up. Riders are out there. Is this a sight lap or sight laps taking place?
Pretty much. It's supposed to be one sight lap. It's really just so that the race organizers can wait for me to load the game.
Because, where are those folks?
So the race organizer, one of them is Jeremy Kohnauer, who we saw earlier in the 450 race.
Is he rigging the results in his own favor?
No.
Okay, we're good.
But he is the president of the company that runs it. So think of Race Factor Gaming that runs this. And we're Start Your Systems. It's a Feld NBC relationship.
Wow, very good. You're the broadcast partner.
Correct.
Okay.
So Race Factor Gaming, they're doing all the stuff behind the scenes. They're setting up the scripts. They're making everything happen to get these guys on the racetrack. As we are joined by my lovely wife bringing cookies.
Oh,
would you like to be on the stream, honey?
Hey, now it's all worth it.
Homemade cookies.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
I got dinner out of this deal. Homemade cookies. I might have to sign off here for a few minutes. No, we can't. It's time to go racing.
It is. It is time for the first race of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, 250 East action about to kick off live here on Start Your Systems. Let's drop the gate here in Houston.
Rider stuck in the gate.
Out of the middle, looks like it's a Cowie and Husky battle to the first corner, and the 11 of Hubbard goes down. He almost got to the corner first. RaceFactorGaming.com Whole Shot Award goes to your defending champion, Colby Eaglin, but Daniel Mills straight out of the last chance qualifier into the race lead from the outside. So just as we predicted, getting that outside gate pick, maybe able to swoop into the first corner. Mills pays off as he gets the lead and the early advantage over Colby Eaglin behind him in second.
Well, just as I predicted, Mills probably would be sampling some of his sponsor product after sweating it in that LCQ, and maybe that loosened him up.
Yeah.
You would think it would hurt the reaction times, not help. So Eaglin's got to go back to work, but he's in a good position, staying out of the chaos early and losing a little bit of ground, though. Mills is on the move.
Yeah, we got Nathan Print up in third, McIntosh in fourth, and then a absolute freight train of riders behind them. It's really going to come down to these two out front early on to see who makes the least amount of mistakes, as Mills opening up that little bit of a gap. And this was Mills' MO in the two races he won last year, St. Louis and the Salt Lake City finale. Mills able to get out front and let the chaos behind him ensue and not get tangled up in the battles and have to fight his way forward. That is exactly how he won both races last year. Let's see if he can kick off this season with a win at Houston 1 this year with the same strategy.
I think Eaglin has figured something out. He's starting to dig back into that lead of Mills. So we might have a battle on our hands. Early laps. Begin the third one here in Houston. An absolutely packed house here at Reliance Stadium. I don't know if they've opened the roof or closed it. Depends on the weather. I know the gamers really got to stay on top of that sort of thing. And I also wonder what the track will be like when we're back in a week to keep on racing here in Houston. And do not count out the third. Oh, Eaglin
He somehow saves it and does not go down, but he's going to lose that spot as he goes back to third. And Nathan Prin, the rider out of France on the AJ Originals, number 42, he has moved up into second, and he is mighty fast as well. He's very quick in qualifying. He's going to try to put that pressure on Daniel Mills out front right away.
Man, Arminas Jasikonis has got to be pumped to see this new team on the Kawasaki's. Yep, AJ's Originals looking good and starting to close, actually, is Prin on your leader, Mills. So it's going to be a battle. We just thought it would be a different rider. But once Eaglin made the mistake, here's Prin.
Yep, opened up the opportunity there for Prin to go up and go after Daniel Mills. And we'll see if Mills can respond to that pressure. Let's do a really quick lap time check. 50.1 out of Prin last time by, and a 51.7 out of Mills, but his best was a 50.2. He's going to try to get back into that range as down under a second. Prin now behind Mills, closing that gap down with Eaglin still a distant third.
Wow, I don't know if that was style or a near OJ by Prin to get the bike back on the ground and set up for that corner. He is really pushing the pace right now.
Oh,
and
Mills
a huge
down.
mistake for Mills.
Mills down over the bars out of the lead, and that promotes Prin to the front. Eaglin goes to second, McIntosh to third, Stanley fourth, Seth Garrett now up to fifth, and Mills first to sixth in the first fall-off crash that we've seen out of our leaders out front.
That one has to hurt, not the body, but the ego. Mills had this thing, I wouldn't say under control, because Prin was applying some pressure and really pushing it, but he did have clear racetrack. Now he's going to have to work his way back forward, and we got a battle set up. Prin took the lead when Eaglin had a crash.
Yeah,
Eaglin almost went down there too.
Yep, Eaglin charging forward now. A lap time check out of him, a 50.7 last time by, so he was 0.2 quicker than Prin last time by, but Prin still has the advantage. Fastest lap of the race at a 50.1. Eaglin now with some clear air and a target dangling in front of him. Might try to up his game a little bit here, and we'll see if those lap times start dropping.
And the lovely Hannah here.
Prin, oh, sideways off the track, and there's going to be the pass for the lead. Eaglin to the front. Does he get the triple? Little case, and Prin case is even harder and goes off the track. So Eaglin now back to the front on the number 1.
2 3/4 they did that triple. And there's poor Kellen Brauer with these beautiful, just baked, fresh, hot out of the oven chocolate chip cookies in front of him, but no chance to actually take a bite. Incredible the willpower of this man. Because just when you try to take your eyes off the action, what happens? Prin makes a mistake, Eaglin to the lead, and I don't know if this battle is over. Eaglin has definitely found his flow here, but I wouldn't say it's his race to win yet. Prin might have something to say about it, or maybe this track will.
And Prin, we just mentioned before this battle started getting a little bit more intense that he has the upper hand in terms of lap time right now, so he might actually have the raw pace on Eaglin as well to just straight up catch him again, but a little mistake like that's not going to help as he loses a little bit of time there. Just a few tenths here and there is all it takes, and suddenly Eaglin's opened up a nice little gap.
All right, let's see if he can control the race from the front now that he's gotten there. Eaglin, the Canadian, correct?
I believe so,
Yep,
yes.
representing right now the number 1. And obviously that doesn't add any weight to the motorcycle. Had a rough go of it in the heat, went down in the first turn, had to come all the way back and still got second after a first turn crash and was in a much better position in this main event. And then Mills and Prin, with their mistakes, handed over. And he's just inching away because of the mistakes of Prin behind him.
Yeah, Prin getting a little bit more wayward as well in the whoops, and it's allowing Rogan McIntosh to kind of close up here. Stanley and Seth Garrett in a bit of a freight train now, trying to close that gap down on these guys, and then Mills, your early leader, has a bit between his teeth trying to close up and maybe still land a podium spot here. He's got 4 riders right in front of him that could help him get to that position. Brady Stanley trying to make the move, almost hits the back of McIntosh. It goes down. Mills going to make the pass, as does Seth Garrett, and Stanley goes from 4th to 6th with that little mistake right there.
Wow, things are happening in a hurry in our MotoOption main event here, the opening round of the 250 class.
Oh.
Down to the inside.
Yeah, Mills shutting the door there on Seth Garrett, who just kind of opened up into the corner and then getting pushed from behind. Stanley runs into his tire, and somehow Stanley stays on 2 wheels as Seth Garrett hits the deck. And there's Hubbard, who was down in the first corner. Remember, he was our early heat race leader earlier on tonight and eventually fell apart, and Tiberino was able to win that heat. We have not seen Tiberino just yet. Waiting at about the halfway point, we're going to see if we get a top 10 rundown snuck in here. But this battle for the lead is still fairly close. And, ooh, Stanley just fell from 5th. Regroups, but he might lose this spot to Hubbard coming through. Going to be about bar to bar, but Hubbard makes that pass stick. Goes to the inside. He's not going to get the triple out. That might be Stanley's opportunity to land smooth here and get right up on him again.
Let's see if these two work together to move forward, or is it just going to be a raw battle between them? It looks like it's going to be a battle. Hubbard, Stanley, they definitely showed speed in their heat races. They brought it in the May, but they've got to work their way forward. How are they going to play it to this right-hander? Good job by Hubbard to cover the inside. Stanley going to run the high line.
Gets a little bit better drive onto the start straight as well, and that might give an opportunity in this whoop section to get a drive. Maybe sneak up down the left side, perhaps. Oh, Hubbard down. He cased the double into the whoops. So Stanley goes through, as does, I think that was the 18 of Luke Sullivan. Benjamin Saves also went by, and Hubbard now getting going just behind those guys. So still no sign of Dominic Tiberino, your winner in that first heat race. We'll see whether or not maybe he's had an early problem that's put him way down the order.
Meanwhile, no such problems for Eaglin. He's slowly stretching it out. You can still see there's a little bit of pressure behind. If he makes one or two mistakes, it's going to be a battle. But right now, he's looking good. Everyone else, man, I'm telling you, I've seen what in the real world will be season-ending level injuries with these massive crashes like the one Hubbard just had over that double. But he's okay, and there's still time to make up ground.
Absolutely. So halfway through this main event, 7:30 down, 7:30 to go, plus a lap. We're going to go ahead and do a quick top 10 rundown. This one brought to you by Racetech Suspension. Racetech is an industry leader in suspension components and service. Racetech has been a huge supporter of RF and from the beginning, providing tons of prizing for RF competitors. Racetech is your place to go for all your suspension needs. Thank you, Racetech. They bring you this top 10 rundown, which is currently being held as the race leader. Colby Eaglin comes through on the Panini Motorsports Underground RC. Number 1, the defending champion out front, as the Frenchman Nathan Prin on the number 42 AJ Originals is closing up. We may not want to do this entire top 10 rundown just yet, because this battle for the lead is definitely getting a lot more intense, as Prin has closed that gap right down. Might have been a few mistakes out of Eaglin. Another rider down, and this is going to be a great run for Prin, and the whoops around the outside to take the lead, as Eaglin had to take evasive action there at the beginning, and it's coming unglued a little bit here for Eaglin, as he doesn't get the optimal rhythm there either, but Prin makes another mistake, and the battle ensues.
All right, this is going to be good, this rhythm lane and the left-hander after it. Oh, but Eaglin not able to get the drive out of the corner he wanted, and that may allow Prin to get through this corner safely. It does. Can they get this triple? They barely did. That has been tough for these 250s to get the pop. Hey, it's not over yet. Eaglin has settled back in and is going after Prin and starting to show him a wheel down to the inside here.
Not quite able to get a nose in there just yet, but it is definitely the pressure being applied by Eaglin right now. Prin trying to respond as Eaglin down the inside. Prin cuts underneath. Almost contact. Prin rides a wheelie. It's bar to bar into the corner, but Eaglin has shut the door and taken the lead back from Prin. Back and forth we go in Houston.
Everything's bigger in Texas. That includes these battles for the lead. 3 or 4 times these two have gone back and forth. It was in this section 1 lap ago where Eaglin handed it over. He's wrestled it back, and Prin is taking another shot at it as well. They get it clean out of this corner. They both hit this double. Oh, it's going to be good as we go back across the start straight.
Yeah, it looks like that outside rut is causing a little bit of problems to Prin. He's electing not to go to it to hit that jump as he cases that triple real hard. There's a rider down in the corner. They both had to take a bit of evasive action not to hit. So let's go ahead and really quickly run through our top 10, brought to you by Racetech Suspension. Brady Stanley on the team, Jack Daniels Racing. Number 80 is in 3rd. Jacob Hubbard on the number 11 SwapMotoLive.com machine is in 4th. We got Luke Sullivan being passed right now by Daniel Mills. Daniel Mills on the Jack Daniels Racing number 15 is in 5th. 6th for Sullivan on the team, Nami number 18, but he's going to jump back by into 5th. The battle ensues there as Rogan McIntosh is up into 7th on the VlastMX.com number 89. Seth Garrett running in 8th on the TM Factor Racing VlastMX.com number 43. 9th for Joseph Pilsner on the Masters of MX.com number 48. And 10th is Benjamin Saves on the Impact number 40. That has been a top 10 rundown brought to you by the fine folks at Racetech Suspension.
And I got to say, you can tell these people with the Racetech Suspension, these bikes are super dialed, especially considering it's round 1. Everybody's got their settings, gold valves, I would assume, in those forks dialed in. As Eaglin, at least right now, it's settled down a little bit. We had some real drama between he and Prin 2 laps ago. Now Eaglin, not a huge lead, but it's comparatively a big one compared to where we were when they were actually exchanging that position back and forth. Can't count out the AJ Originals rider of Prin, though. Could get right back in this, or maybe a mistake from your leader. How big of a gap do they have on everybody else? It's pretty sizable.
Pretty sizable, yeah. Hubbard, wow, maybe that is really far.
Wow.
That's 3-4 corners behind these guys. It is really just down to these two for this win. And this is crucial for Prin as well, because this is actually his North America Supercross debut. He's from France. He races in the EU series that is put on by Race Factory Gaming, but he has never raced the North American Supercross series, only has that 42 on his bike from racing nationals last year. So this is really his first true test against all these guys indoors, and man, oh man, if he comes out as a winner in his first try, that would be huge.
Oh, there was so much hype, so much talk and attention in the media, the hearing that Prin was going to come over to the United States and race Supercross, so this is a big deal to get the Frenchman here. Eaglin, the rider out of Canada. Oh, and Prin, a mistake. So the rider out of Canada, Eaglin, able to pull away just a bit, but Prin's got time to make this work. But a couple more mistakes, and it might be too far gone.
Yeah, definitely lost a lot of ground right there. 4.2 seconds back now, but they are 28 seconds ahead of Hubbard, who is in third. So a huge gap between the two, and really down to just these two for the race win, as we've got 2.5 minutes and a lap left to go in this main event. And we're going to see whether or not Prin can maybe reel him back in. Battle for third brewing. Brady Stanley, Hubbard, and Sullivan all in a bit of a freight train right here. Different rhythm options. And Daniel Mills on the 15. There's a lap rider right behind them, but Mills coming into the corner in the background there is not too far off this battle either. Good battle right now for fourth specifically, but Stanley now under attack for third. Hubbard trying to get to the inside, around the outside. Sullivan gets triple clean, and all three of them nose to tail as they hit the finish line jump again.
Wow, this is good stuff here. Valuable championship points on the line. You never know how it's going to turn out at the end of the year. Right now, Stanley holding up tough. Under pressure, Hubbard wants a piece of this podium, and he's going for it right now. He's got a line on the inside.
Oh, Stanley down on the outside, maybe trying to react to Hubbard going to the inside. Tried to knife the front wheel and knifed himself into the ground instead, as Hubbard up to third. Sullivan now up into fourth, and Mills still lurking right there in fifth as he puts... down he goes! That was the 862 getting put a lap down, Benjamin Milchkovic, as Stanley's going to swerve through the whoops and make the pass. Then Milchkovic puts Stanley on the ground, so not sure what happened there with Stanley and Milchkovic, but maybe some bad blood as Stanley gets going.
Here. Yeah. Listen to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, find a different game and let these guys settle it.
Not often you see lapped riders taking out leaders, but just happened right there. So Seth Garrett, also a benefactor of that situation, closing up on Daniel Mills ahead of him for fifth, perhaps.
Garrett's had a wild ride of his own just earlier. Oh, and he's even wilder.
Big over-the-bars moment for Seth Garrett, catching the rut on that corner exit a little bit wrong on the face of that jump, and you're seeing more and more guys struggle with that triple on these 250Fs, just cannot quite get the power out of that corner anymore as these ruts get deeper and deeper. So more struggles all around. Hubbard still has Sullivan right on his tail. We'll peek back up front, take a look at the gap, and it is massive, ladies and gentlemen. Eagland right here out front. We'll do a really quick run through the field, actually, as Eagland's going to take the white flag next time by. So there is your race leader, Eagland, on the 1. You'll see the gaps now. This is another lap rider. There goes the 441 through. 20 seconds back to Prin, so a lot of time here until we see Prin come through.
Wow, it's opened up big time.
Yeah, Prin must have had a couple mistakes.
And yeah, the mistakes is a key word. I think Eagland has just run the smoothest race of anyone on the racetrack.
There is
Prin. And that has made a massive difference.
So Prin going through now. Lapped rider in there as well. And another lapped rider before finally we see... There he is, the 11 of Hubbard coming in. Whoa, rider in the background almost getting into the back of him. So how far up? They've already... that was P3 going by. Here's P4, Daniel Mills on the 15. Going through the bottom of your screen now. And I want to see, that's Sullivan in 5th on the 18. Eagland has taken the white flag. There's Seth Garrett in 6th, and Eagland has lapped up to 7th, ladies and gentlemen.
Unbelievable.
Putting in the absolute barn burner lap times out front and making this thing look easy in his title defense.
It was a battle with he and Prin for a while, but it really came down to when would the mistakes happen. For Eagland, they happened early, and they did not happen at all in the second half of the race, and he's absolutely pulled away. He's got to avoid a lot of carnage, though.
Yeah, lap traffic, a lot of guys battling there. That's Benjamin Saves and Stanley going at each other behind this right now. Seth Garrett also mixed in. I wonder if Eagland's trying to let them have an extra lap or not, but might as well just go because these guys are battling each other tooth and nail back there.
Knock him down.
But here it is, title defense secured. Colby Eagland kicks off the season here in Houston.
No!
Oh, with almost a win. He's going to win this race for sure, but... got to get going first. He looks like Ryder's going through. Eagland takes the win out front. And Prin looks like he's going to be all alone in second. Hubbard in third. Mills in fourth. Sullivan in fifth. And Stanley just laid it down in front of Seth Garrett. This is the only remaining battle. Oh, Pilsner's in this one as well in the 48. Because, oh no, actually, McIntosh did not get lapped. Saves the first man a lap down in P10. So all that chaos. Oh, as Pilsner goes down. So this battle for 6th here, I believe. Stanley trying to get Seth Garrett. Going to go down the right side. Garrett's going to have the inside line still and takes him to the top. And down goes Stanley. Nice move by Garrett, but he makes a mistake in the rhythm section here.
I just want Garrett to get over this triple out of the corner and not do 5 front flips like he did a couple laps ago. He does clip, but he gets over it. What a dramatic finish. A lap rider actually knocking down your leader as he was taking the checkered flag. Didn't affect the result because he had such a big lead, but Eaglin, that had to still be some frustration there.
Absolutely. Not the way you want to win a race, for sure, is by getting clobbered by some lap riders.
I don't know how the Yamaha win ad's going to come out with him rolling the finish line.
All right, so in the end, as results come in confirmed, it was Colby Eaglin from Nathan Prynne, Jacob Hubbard, Daniel Mills, and Luke Sullivan inside of the top 5. Garrett Stanley, Pilsner, McIntosh, Saves inside of the top 10. Seth Shirley, Riley Hewen, Benjamin Milchkovic, Caleb Hall, and Rasmus Balzer was 11 through 15, 16th for Emmett Sun, 17th for Cole Roberts, 18th for Colt Hans, 19th for Matthias Janis, 20th was Jonathan Alexander, 21st for Cody Branson, and 22nd, Dominic Tiberino. Man, he only made it 9 laps, so Tiberino, who finished 3rd in this championship last year, getting a terrible start to his season, only leaving this round with 1 point to his total.
Well, you can leave 1 cookie to your total. I'll cover for a second. So now Kellen can finally dig into the snacks, which is a huge part of the program here. Big shout out to Hurricane Hannah for hooking us up. Eaglin, meanwhile, he's celebrating big time, and you can see the kind of pace. Again, this is just a victory lap, and he is absolutely floored and flying. And he's served notice that if anyone wants to take this championship away for 2020, it is not going to come easy. A, he's fast, but B, probably made the least mistakes of anyone on the racetrack. He wasn't completely clean, but he was cleaner than everyone else. So he could be searching for 2 in a row, but we have seen in these shorter series 1 big mistake, 1 bad night, and even the best rider ends up not being champion at the end of the year. So he's got to stay humble, keep his head down, and we'll be ready for another one in Houston before long. What a great run, though. Although we did get some action. That was a good battle between he and Prynne for a while. A lot of hype about Prynne coming over here and racing, as you were saying, Kellen, in North America for Supercross for the first time. And he's going to put it up on the box in that race. So nothing to complain about with the effort, and even led some laps in a good battle as well. So nothing to be ashamed of for Prynne, who looked really good on that Kawasaki.
Whoops. Don't like when that happens. All right. 250 East main event number 1 is done. And that means just 1 race remains, ladies and gentlemen. The big dogs, the 450s. Seabolt, Haley, Leclerc, Mitchell, Gebhardt out of the LCQ. Holman there as well, like you said. The rookies, Dickerson and Carter, also trying to make a dent. This is going to be quite the main event. And we're going to see who's going to take that first step towards the 2021 championship here tonight in Houston. Maybe Leclerc can pick up his 2nd title this year. We got a bunch of guys really this year that are all going for their 2nd title. Leclerc is a 1-time champion. Haley's a 1-time champion. Seabolt, a 1-time champion. We are missing 4-time champion Tyson Fresquez. He is no longer racing anymore. And Byron Downen, we also saw earlier tonight, he made it through into the main event. 2014 champion and 2015 champion Hunter Root, also long retired as well. So one of these guys is going to join Tyson Fresquez as a multi-time champion this year, or at least they hope, unless someone else comes up and steals the thunder this year.
So the multi-time champion, Fresquez, the pressure, retired early, Dunge, RV.
Well, it's interesting because Fresquez, he comes from a generation that's a lot older in the game. His first title was in 2012. So he won in 12 and 13 and then had kind of like a brief hiatus where he struggled there, and Downen and Root were able to pick up titles in 14 and 15. And then Fresquez somehow, some way found a second wind in his career, if you will, and re-won the titles again in 16 and 17 and then rode off into the sunset.
Dude,
so,
Dunge. He pretty much had Dunge's career.
Kind of, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So Fresquez now on the sidelines. Any rumors that he was going to make a comeback like Dunge himself?
It's interesting because unlike real life, being really fast in this game doesn't mean you get the best equipment. So Fresquez's problems his entire career has been having kind of a computer that's not the best.
No way.
So right now I think he's not racing because his computer doesn't actually handle the game very well.
People are donating to Kellen.
I know, right? We got to
Help
get
out the
Tyson Fresquez
multi-time
back
champ.
on the track.
The Goat King. So we're getting ready for our 450 main event. I really like what I saw from Adam Holmes in his heat. He had no problems whatsoever on the Adam Cianciarulo, Joey Savacci looking Monster Energy Kawasaki. And now we have riders on track for the sight lap.
Yep. One last time to take a look at the track and dial everything in to think about who is going to get that hole shot, who's going to lead the early laps, and who might streak away with the first win of 2021. It's getting nervous time for these guys.
I'm nervous about this.
Yeah, this is a lot of work put into this, a lot of time and effort from the Race Factor Gaming crew, but a lot of hours, a lot of dedicated time and hours by these guys putting in the motos on their private facilities or coming into servers and racing other competitors, getting prepared for this one moment right here. It's the 2021 MotoOption Supercross Championship in MX Simulator. It starts right now in Houston 1. Who's going to win the 2021 title? Let's find out right now. Good jump from Holm on the inside. He actually out-drags Leclerc. Whelan gets to the corner first on the 25 and comes out as the leader. Bryce Whelan, RaceFactorGaming.com Whole Shot Award, gets away early. Little mistake in the first rhythm, though, and a couple guys casing stuff. It's Pace and Johnson side by side with Tyler Lang, and Holmes streaks through both of them to move up into third as Leclerc on the 7 tries to get down the inside. We got a lot of heavy hitters right towards the front early on.
I like what I saw from Holm in the first turn. He avoided a crash there. He avoided a crash in the third turn, so he's kept himself right in there where he wants to go. But look at this. Leclerc down on the inside of the number 7, 2 Kawasaki's down side by side in the start stretch.
And Johnson gets clipped, and Leclerc stays on 2 wheels. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Leclerc and Holm not only sharing bikes this year, but they're also longtime rivals. They actually had a very heated rivalry back in 2019 with several weeks of exchanging takeouts on each other. So interesting to see them start up front here early and try to battle each other in this main event. They've got pressure from Lang and Bobby to sell a good start on the Team Nami machine. Oh, he's going to case that jump, but doesn't lose too much time as he settles in behind Lang.
Well, we're going to warn these guys again. You can certainly lose the title in round 1, but not win it. So I don't know if you're going to see Leclerc and Holm go at it that hard immediately. I would say it's ill-advised, but you certainly can't stop racers from being racers. But they've got more to worry about. That 14 of Lang. Don't adjust your set. It is a gas, not a red Cole Seeley, the number 14 Honda, running in fourth and right there.
Got to change for the lead. Leclerc has gone to the front on Bryce Whelan. A little mistake out of the rider from Canada on the 25 SwapMotoLive.com machine. He's trying to keep Leclerc close as Holm has Lang breathing down his neck. They're going to go side by side into the rhythm.
And let's see how this turns out. Every move that Leclerc tries to make, Holm is able to follow him through. So they're now 1-2.
Oh, Lang cross jump a little bit behind him there, and we also have still DeSalle creeping up. Lang gets the triple out of the corner and makes that pass stick. Holm to fourth, Lang up to third, but they are still all chasing the fast Frenchman Alexis Leclerc on the AJ Originals. Number 7, the 2018 Supercross champion, the 4-time now Race Factor Gaming Motocross champion. He's got the outdoors dialed. Can he get another indoor title to add to the long and impressive resume?
Well, it looks good right now for Leclerc out of France, pulling away. I thought Holm was going to get into warfare with him, but a couple of mistakes. Holm is now back in the number 4 position. Whelan has been consistent in this main. Led early, solid in second, and it is settled down for the moment. We'll see if Tyler Lang here in third can close back in. No, actually, he's gone back to fourth. Holm is moving up.
Yeah, Holm looking like he's running into a bit of problems here as here comes Bobby DeSelf sneaking down the inside on the Nami machine. He's going to get to the inside, but can he make it stick? Holm around the outside, triples over, and holds onto the spot for the time being. But it looks like the number 17 machine needs to regroup and refocus here because he is going the wrong direction on the racetrack.
Oh, my bad. I thought that was Lang he was battling with. You're right, it is DeSalle. So he's losing ground, not gaining it. And there you see all the way down the start stretch already. Your leader, Leclerc, already starting to pull away.
Yeah, streaking away at the front for sure. Leclerc trying to lay claim to this title early on this year as opposed to missing the main event like he did last year and struggling to fight back into it. Payson Johnson leading a freight train of riders right here. We got Kohenauer, Gebhardt, Dickerson, Carter, and your defending champion Seabolt all heading into the whoops at the same time.
First time we have seen Seabolt in this main event. And remember, Gebhardt, last chance qualifier, last rider in, and he is making moves and aggressive ones.
Yeah, bumping Payson Johnson out of the way then and having to take evasive action. Rider was down. That was Bobby DeSell actually on the Nami machine, and Kohenauer also hitting the deck on the number 20. So Seabolt weaving his way through, Johnson getting up from his crash, and it's completely separated the field once again.
Back to your leader, Alexis Leclerc on the AJ Originals, number 7, Kawasaki. He just has it dialed in right now. He looks smooth. He looks consistent, and with this kind of a lead, he doesn't need to take any huge risks. So it's going to be hard for anyone to penetrate that lead that he has built up. Whelan has done a good job, but Leclerc is just on another level right now.
Yeah, Leclerc's MO his entire career has been very McGrath-esque. Get out front, get a huge lead, and let everything else happen behind him. And as soon as the mistakes start coming in, which they will, Leclerc is prone to make mistakes. He often struggles with the erode system as it gets down in the stretch and the ruts get deeper. If he's far enough out front, those mistakes will not come back to haunt him.
There's the rider trying to catch him, Bryce Whelan. And now Adam Holm, he needed a little reset, as you said. Not a real one, didn't Control-Alt-Delete this thing. But the riding has definitely settled back in, and he is starting to make tracks toward the front.
Yep, catching up to Bryce Whelan. He's still got Tyler Lang right behind him, so Lang must have either made a little mistake or Holm really wicked it up and got around him. Either way, Whelan a bit of a sitting duck as Holm has closed that gap down rather quickly. And into the whoops they go. Let's see if Holm can maybe close it down even more.
Podium points up for grabs right now, 2nd and 3rd. And then you see not too far back, the number 4 position. So there's still lots to race for. We're only 7 laps in. Oh, no, Holm!
Stays up, though. Very crucial right there to stay on 2 wheels. Does not lose way more time than he could have right there. Lang goes up into 3rd. Holm drifts back to 4th. And Seabolt very quietly has moved his way up inside of the top 5 in a race where, like we said, you can definitely lose it at the opener. You can't win the championship, but you can lose it. This is huge for Seabolt to get as many points as possible after a rough start.
Man, they had Seabolt up against the ropes early in this one, but they weren't able to make it happen. Mistakes and smart riding by him, moving up into the top 5, going to score some good points. Question is, can he put that Yamaha up on the podium?
Might still have a chance to do it with a lot of time in this race left remaining. 14 minutes and a lap to go. Adam Holm ahead of him. Tyler Lang off the track there for a minute, so Lang making a little bit of a mistake. They're still trying to chase down Whelan, and Leclerc out front, I believe, is just laying down lap times that are unfathomable. 48.8 out front. Best lap at a 49.6 last time by. None of these guys else in the 48s just yet. A lot of 49s going through the field. Looks like everybody in the 49s back to Haley, who's now up to 7th. Your 2019 champion has clawed his way up into a good position as well, but he is not turning those lap times as quick as we're seeing out of the leaders just yet. So we'll see whether or not he can make that happen.
Watching Jack Haley on the Jack Daniels racing machine. He has been through enough emotional trauma with some of these qualifying races just to get in. A lot of these riders can talk about that. Seabolt 5th, Walter Gebhardt in 6th. Then it's Haley right here in the number 7 position. See if he can close up on the riders in front as they go through the whoops. But oh no, Holm!
Yeah,
another
Holm
mistake.
was down after the whoops there. I also saw, Gebhardt has caught Seabolt and is absolutely
Oh!
He lands!
What?
Oh, he barrel rolls onto the table, and he actually is going to complete the pass because Seabolt is rolling through the rhythm lane. A little problem there for the number 1 machine, but what a land right there. Gebhardt barrel rolling onto the table and saving it as he goes off the track.
That was the greatest thing in racing I've ever seen in my life. A barrel roll pass for position and landing it on and on-off tabletop. So Seabolt, both winning and losing there, they're able to stay ahead of Holm,
and Haley
but lose
also
the position to Gebhardt.
Yeah, Haley sneaking into the picture on the 2. Holm also battling with these guys, so this is really close action here. They're all losing a lot of ground to Leclerc out front, who continues to streak away with the race lead, but now Gebhardt dealing with going forward instead of trying to battle with Seabolt, has to run down Tyler Lang, and Lang's got a comfortable gap on him, but we'll see. Gebhardt known for laying down those fast laps of 49.1. Let's see if this first clean lap that he's really gotten free air now that he's up into 4th is going to lay down even a better lap time.
Unbelievable. Walter Gebhardt coming out of the LCQ, led a lot of it, late mistakes, barely able to get back into a transfer spot, and he might be the quickest rider out there. Maybe sans for the Frenchman Leclerc up front. He is flying literally right now, and let's see how far he can go. Maybe climb up into a podium position.
Yeah, 7.2 seconds down on Lang, so he has a little bit of work to do for sure, but if anybody can do it, Walter Gebhardt's speed can carry him there. Look at this tight battle, though. 5, 6, 7. Seabolt, Holm, and Haley, as they all hit the whoops, are charging through, and these lap times clicking away. Already on lap 11, sneaking up to the halfway point of this race. Haley, a little mistake right there, cost him some time. And the German, Yannick Blum, on the privateer effort 177, makes a pass on Seabolt, who is hung high in the corner. So Seabolt drops back to 8th momentarily, but Blum goes down. Here's Payson Johnson also trying to close up on what is his teammate. I don't have his skins, unfortunately, but Seabolt just in front of his teammate there, Payson Johnson. They're trying to run down Jack Haley ahead of them in 6th.
Well, that's amazing. I just figured Seabolt would continue to move forward once he got there, but he has not been immune to the mistakes. So it has been high drama for everyone but your leader, Alexis Leclerc. They've all had their good moments and their bad. And honestly, only on lap 12, there's still plenty of time for more of this to happen. I don't know who's going to leave this main event besides your leader if he can hang on. I don't know if any of them are going to be truly happy. They all left something out there on the track, but that's what makes this fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely getting to a bit of a high-pressure situation for some of these guys, because the difference between finishing 3rd and 7th at the opener can be huge in terms of championship scenarios, trying to get established in these early championship battles and not fall down into the midfield. So some of these guys want to land on the podium more than anything at this opener, just to get out of the first round with some decent points. I'll tell you what, even though Leclerc is laying down some really good times, he's not actually that far out in front of Bryce Whelan just yet, who is just now on the exit of the whoops. I think it's about an 8-second gap, maybe, a 6-second gap. Whelan's still in the 49s, putting in some great times on his SwapMotoLive.com machine.
Oh yeah, shout out to Whelan. He has just been quiet and consistent. Led for a little while, went back to 2nd, has avoided the big mistake, and we're on board with them right now. Just wants one glimpse of that green fender up ahead, and if you get it, I always say it's a lot easier to catch what you can see.
A little bit of a slide out there on the double into the finish line jump for Whelan, but not too much time lost. And this is usually the stage of the race where Leclerc starts running into a few problems, or at least it has been in past years. Definitely gets it done outdoors every year, but indoors, it just seems like the road wearing down. His setup doesn't seem to flow very well as the track roughens up, and running into that lap traffic always seems to be a bit of a problem. So we'll see if 2021 is a different year and he's ironed out those gremlins.
Leclerc able to negotiate some lap traffic here. That was not a problem. He certainly looked smooth and not overly aggressive, just letting the track come to him, which is the advantage you get when you got a little bit of the lead. And we're about to click another lap off here. Now it's going to start feeling like it is taking forever for Leclerc. 20-minute main is going to feel more like 30, when all that can happen now is something bad. If it just ended like this, it would be perfect. And look at the carnage he's going to have to deal with these lap riders. What?
Lap rider.
What was that?
It looks like he got up and looped himself right back out of contention there. So yeah, like you said, Leclerc dealing with weaving through some lap traffic here. Oh, Kohenauer maybe just went down in the background.
I'd say half the crashes I've seen tonight are riders getting tangled in other riders' mess, and there's nothing they could do to avoid it. So
right.
If you're Whelan, you got to try to keep as close as possible and hope that happens to the leader. Running strong in 2nd.
Yeah, holding steady. Lang still solid in 3rd. Gebhardt is definitely closed that gap down. Remember, it was over 6 seconds when we last checked in, and Gebhardt is just absolutely tearing into Tyler Lang ahead of him right now. And Lang just went down. Lang down out of 3rd. Doesn't go down off the bike, so fortunately doesn't lose too much time there. But Walter Gebhardt straight out of the 22nd spot on the gate, the last spot in the last chance qualifier, finds himself in a podium position here with over 7 minutes and a lap left to go.
Walter Gebhardt trying to put it together. What a journey it has been. Was sweating it with, I believe, 2 laps to go in the LCQ. He was out of a transfer spot. It looked like he was going to miss the main. This is last year's winner of the opener, correct?
It is.
Yeah, so what a recovery just to get in. He actually pulled a good start despite the 22nd gate pick. And although his race has not been perfect, it has been cleaner than most.
Definitely
he could be a player.
Yep, getting around some lap traffic as well, still splitting the difference and doubling in right there, so making up some good time. Let's go ahead and get our top 10 rundown. Done and
is that a
dusted
battle
here.
for the lead right there, Brewing?
No, that
That's
looks like
Lap
Lap
okay,
Rider right behind him. Yeah. So top 10 rundown. This one is going to be brought to you by a brand new sponsor this year. It's Phil's Ski and Snowboard. Phil's Ski and Snowboard is your one-stop shop for all things ski and snowboard. They have over 35 years of industry experience, along with a youthful and knowledgeable staff, giving you the best experience you can find in Orange County. Whether it's tune-ups and repairs, seasonal leases, retail, or just giving information on the latest, greatest equipment, they are here to make sure you get the most out of your winter. Hit up Phil's Ski and Snowboard today. They bring you this top 10 rundown here halfway through this 450 main event in Houston. Alexis Leclerc on the AJ Originals, number 7, leading the way as Bryce Whelan still holding on to second on the number 25. SwapMotoLive.com ride, and he just rides out of the 360 right there. Lose a lot of time though, and here comes Walter Gebhardt on the Tegrity number 5 machine, closing down that gap. Gonna be right on Whelan here before long, so let's get through this rundown. Jack Haley, the 2019 champ, is all the way up into 4th now on the Jack Daniels Racing number 2, and 5th now Tyler Lang after that mistake on the Moto Playground number 14 has drifted back a little ways. Payson Johnson a mistake here. Adam Holm trying to capitalize. Let's see, does Holm get the move? No, it looks like Johnson's going to momentarily hold it. Holm might have a drive down the inside here. Let's see if he tries to go for it. He is, and almost gets into the side of Johnson. Johnson holds on, and Johnson running in the 6th spot on the Panini Motorsports Underground RC number 8. Adam Holm in 7th on the atom.com number 17. 8th for Braden Carter on the SwapMotoLive.com number 19. 9th for Colton Mitchell on the Panini Motorsports Underground RC number 6. And 10th is Bobby DeSell on the Team Nami number 34. That has been your top 10 rundown, brought to you by the folks at Phil's Ski and Snowboard.
Yeah, you know me, I love skiing and snowboarding. Phil, I'm a huge fan. Well, Leclerc is making this easy, and then some mistakes from other riders, like Whelan finally made a big one. So it's just that much easier for him. And look at that. He has lapped last year's champion just to really stamp how dominant he has been. And the road system, at least, has not caught up with Leclerc yet.
Yeah, that is really disappointing there for Siebold to see. Is remember, he was up in 5th early on, making inroads towards the front, and now he's getting lapped by Alexis Leclerc. But it looks like what he's going to try to do here is latch on to the number 7 and go with him. He is in 11th, and just up the road about 4 seconds of him is Isaiah Dickerson, so maybe has a chance. There is Dickerson down, actually, so Siebold goes to 10th right there, and every point counts in this championship. You got to get every single one to win this title, and Siebold's going to try to pick up at least a few more before this is over.
Yeah, a good way to do it would be to try to run Leclerc's pace. A little mistake, wheel spin out of the corner for Siebold, and Leclerc, he is here to declare that he wants this title to be his. He wants to follow up that outdoor motocross championship with one here in Supercross. But Siebold closing right back in. Siebold to do himself well. If he could just stay with Leclerc, he might pick up a few more positions, although he's a lap down. You got to figure Leclerc will pick a few more off.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some more chaos with the guys ahead of them as well, so perhaps Siebold still has a chance to maybe work his way up to about 6th or 7th. We saw Colby Eaglin lap all the way up to 7th at one point in that 250 main event before he went down before the finish, and only 10th was able to get lapped. But if Siebold can stick with Leclerc, then he can have a chance at least at catching those guys, and Leclerc is definitely doing the heavy carrying of this group right now. Back to Whelan, still in 2nd, and Jack Haley is now gone through into 3rd, so we've lost Walter Gebhardt. Jack Daniels Racing number 2 machine up into 3rd. Gebhardt now 7 seconds back of Haley, which means he definitely had a mistake somewhere and had gone down, and Haley taking full advantage of it.
Oh man, Gebhardt had such a great run going, but this track will reach up and bite you at any moment. So good job by Jack Haley, backed by Jack Daniels. Might be able to treat himself after this race, but it doesn't matter until that checkered flag is out. Things can happen quickly. Haley trying to bring it home, wants to put this thing up on the podium, and I'm kind of surprised how this race has unfolded. Everyone has had their trouble except for your leader. There's Haley. Look at the lap rider launching.
Trying to get out of the way. Very nicely done by the lap rider, but sometimes those look a little sketchy when you do that right in front of someone ahead of you.
Yeah, that's not what Haley wanted to see, trying to hold on to 3rd.
Yep. Got to lap Jeremy Cohenauer right there on the 20. And he's still trying to eye up Whelan, who's really just right in front of him. I mean, there's almost nothing in it at this point. It's coming down to a few seconds. And Haley has been steadily closing that gap down, trying to put that number 2 machine into the number 2 spot on the track. And Whelan has gone down, so that's going to put Haley up in a second, just like that. Now, does Whelan stay down long enough for Gebhardt to get there? He's going to land the jump right now. And yes, Gebhardt goes through into 3rd. So Whelan remounts still in 4th, but just barely, because there comes Lang right behind in 5th.
Oh, that has got to be a huge bummer for Whelan, who was running in a podium spot its entire race and now might have coughed it up late. We're 23 laps into this 20-minute main event. See Whelan really trying to get back up the pace.
Yeah, Lang really starting to apply the pressure, though, and they're all ducking to that inside and getting the triple out of the inside. Lang a little short there. And seeing those lines slowly develop as the race goes on. These guys changing up their lines. That outside line maybe getting a little bit too deep and rough for them to dig into and actually hit cleanly. So they're changing it up, single to the inside, and getting the power down a triple from that inside.
A little bit of a reset here as Lang goes after Whelan. You know what's on the line. Podium positions. That's big for the points. Gotta get some virtual interviews in here so these guys get a chance to thank everybody that makes it possible for them to get up on the podium. Haley.
We got to change for the lead. Leclerc went down again. Leclerc is going down out front, and Leclerc already coughed up the lead. He's going to have another fall-off crash here and losing more time. He might actually end up in that battle with Lang as Lang goes by.
I cannot believe what has happened. He had a ginormous lead, and now Whelan staying consistent. He's had some problems of his own, but not that bad. And are we now looking at a battle for the lead between Whelan and Lang?
I think, no, this is still Haley out front. So Haley's got a bit of a gap on these guys, but this battle for second is brewing. Whelan lays it down. Lang, Leclerc just misses as well. And there comes Gebhardt on the 5. So we got a 3-rider battle now for second. Actually, it's like a 4-rider battle. Lang, Leclerc, Gebhardt, and Whelan as Kohenauer off the back of them is a lap down.
Unbelievable what has happened. Leclerc is in complete control. A bunch of mistakes followed by some crashes. And next thing you know, he's going to make up ground. He's got Gebhardt right behind him here on this number 5. Whelan has had his issues as of late. He's right in this battle as well. Look at Gebhardt going for the pass.
Yeah, Leclerc falling apart a little bit here, and also maybe some first round curse here as Gebhardt goes down there, avoiding some lapped riders, and Leclerc gets going. That's in front of Fjellberg, who's a lap down on the 3, but that puts Leclerc into 3rd. And speaking of Leclerc, had this race in control for so long, he has never won the opener in this game, and it has come back to bite him yet again. Now, Haley has won the opener before. The last time he won it was his championship season in 2019. This looking like maybe the second time that he will stand atop the box at the opener.
Unbelievable. You said that the erode system later in the race sometimes has been a problem for Leclerc. I don't know if that's what the trouble was or not, but it was this section right here where we saw the Frenchman down on the ground, and then Haley, who really had to battle his way to even get in position and take advantage of that, and he has taken full advantage now, and he might be looking at the race win. I thought this one was over, but with a white flag coming out, now it looks like it's Jack Haley's.
Yeah, very methodical approach to this race for Haley. It's not over yet, still dealing with some lap traffic, and Lang there for the chance at pouncing on the lead if he can. But Haley, the veteran that he is of this game, the former champion of this series, biding his time to get to the front, wait for the mistakes to happen, and let this race fall into his lap as he might leave here as the red plate holder heading into next week's Houston 2.
Wow. Well, that's what makes this so exciting to watch. That things can change in a hurry at any time. And Jack Haley, the man who makes the least mistakes, is often the man that wins the race, and that's what Haley's looking to do right now. They're going to be celebrating big time for that Jack Daniels racing crew.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone on the team's over 21.
Might be time to pop some bottles because Jack Haley's done it again. He wins the opener here tonight in Houston with a front flip to boot over the finish line jump. Tyler Lang looks like he will indeed settle in for second. A great ride for the Moto Playground number 14 machine. And Leclerc had it all come apart at the end. He's going to get a podium still, but he is going to be deeply disappointed with that one after he surely thought he was going to win that race. Carter is in 4th. Bryce Whelan looks like he may hold on for 5th here. We got a battle brewing, though. Adam Holm and Colton Mitchell and Gebhardt coming in. Mitchell's going to make the pass. Gebhardt trying to get around Holm as well into the final corner. Oh, Gebhardt slides out. Holm gets it back. So Holm does go through into 7th. It was 8th instead for Gebhardt. Siebel does get through into 9th, so some valuable point saving there. Dickerson ends up in 10th, and then everybody else was a lap down to that. To Sell in 11th, Magnetti 12th, 13th for Fjellberg, 14th was Kohenauer, 15th for Yannick Bloom, 16th Devin Davis, 17th Byron Downen, 18th for Dylan Copeland, 19th was Kyle Carpenter, 20th for Robert Wilson, 21st for Payson Johnson, and Reed Young rounding out the order. We wait for cuts. Looks like there's only a few close battles inside of the top 10, but Jack Haley, your winner here tonight in Houston.
Unbelievable. I mean, this went right down to the last corner there with that battle with Holm and Gebhardt. Incredible action here. Race Factory Gaming really has something on their hands here. This is spectacular to watch. I hate to say it, but the actual Monster Energy Supercross opener in Houston will not be this exciting. I'm just telling you right now, it just won't be.
Hey, it could be Anaheim 2013.
All right,
that was pretty
if
good
you got to pick one race out of 1,000, we're batting 0.
Looks like Gebhardt maybe. No, I'm sorry. Siebold lost a spot. He goes back to 10th. Yeah, with cuts. So Dickerson jumps to 9th. But Jack Haley confirmed winner of the opener. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to do it for us here tonight in the booth. Great times had by all. MotoOption SX Series, round number 1. Going to do a quick sponsor read real quick here. Want to give a big shout out, of course, MotoOption Clothing, 10th year running for them being the title sponsor of the series. We'll get to Carson Reedy for that giveaway. MX Simulator, Race Tech Suspension, Phil Ski and Snowboard Underground RC, El Paco on Twitch, and MXS Lobby for your support this year. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it as sponsors of the series. And yeah, Jason Wygant.
It was awesome.
You have a good time.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Glad to have you in booth. I'm glad that you can make it down.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously going to the Gas intro tomorrow, but it seems like you had some fun watching some simulated races.
I mean, man, I did a little bit of Pulp, did a little Racer X, did a little bit of SYS, did a little bit of Gas. Why not get it all in? And I'll be in Houston next week. But like I said, it will not be as exciting as this. It just won't be.
You're the chameleon now. You can add gaming to the list.
Yes.
You already got the ATVs. You got the dirt tracks. You got... I mean, what else?
Yeah, the resume is growing all the time. It doesn't seem to get me anywhere, but at least you donate to the Maestro. The Maestro did an excellent job. You really got to have the hand cam to show all the things that you're juggling between these races. But great job. This is really amazing what you guys have put together. I had no idea this community even existed. And you guys, you're just diehards because you told me how old this simulator game is.
Yeah, 2008.
And you will not give up on it.
Not giving up on it yet. We're
Love
still
it.
racing. We're still having a good time. And it looks like we're still having some pretty good racing to boot here in MotoOption Supercross. Well, that's going to do it for us all here tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in as always. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Houston 2 on the docket where Haley and Eaglin go in as red plate holders. And we look forward to seeing you guys then. So long for now.